right. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's a perfect way. Today's Friday. It's a perfect way to end the month with some IT knowledge. So this is I want to welcome everyone to our very first tech summit. My name is Jeff Huey Huang. So I want to just introduce myself a little bit. I am going to be your MC host for the day, but also tell you a little bit about myself. I actually did 17 years in the IT industry in both higher education and then afterwards aerospace. So I like to say I know a little bit thing about IT. And so joining this organization, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, I wanted to give back. And this is a good way to give back is through some of my IT knowledge. So, so a quick rundown through the day. We're going to have two speakers in the morning. And afterwards, we're going to have lunch. Of course, lunchtime, we're hoping to aim for around 12:15 timetable. And afterwards, we're going to do this educational thing of roundtables, and hopefully it'll be able to introduce multiple topics to our to everybody here. And then afterwards, we'll have two more guest speakers. We're going to close it out, and then we're going to have some happy hour brought to you by Hometown. So it'll be a perfect way to close the day and start your weekend on a party note. All right. So before I get started, I want to do just a little bit of housekeeping. I see most of you here are frequent members, and but I do still want to do a little bit. So feel free to put your phone on stun or vibrate. And then if you need a restroom break, we're all adults here, so feel free to use the restroom. It's just behind these two doors, the men's and women's restroom. So just at any time you need to go for it, just take that break. We also have snacks, and it's just right behind that door. So if you need water, coffee, or snacks, feel free to help yourself to that. And oh, if you do need to take a phone call, feel free. Again, just we're all adults here. Just go ahead and step to the side and take your phone call as needed. So that's pretty much it for the housekeeping. So without further ado, let's get started with our first session. So our first session is cybersecurity best practices, and it's going to be presented by our guest speakers, the NAR IT staff. And so the first person I want to introduce is Chris DeRose, who's a member of Information and E-commerce product leader. Sebastian Drywall, Director of Cybersecurity, and Adam DeRoss, a cybersecurity analyst. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. So can our guest speakers do a quick mic test? And if you like, feel free to introduce yourself if I missed anything.
Certainly. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Chris DeRosa with the National Association.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian Dreva, and I'm IT Security Director at NAR.
My name's Adam DeRoss. I'm a cybersecurity analyst at NAR.
Okay. Were you able to hear us all?
Yes, your voice is perfect. So let's get started with your presentation when you're ready.
Thanks so much, everyone. So again, I'm Chris DeRosa with NAR in the IT area. I'm the member info and e-commerce product leader, and with the very important membership and e-commerce information, am quite involved with cybersecurity. As mentioned, my co-presenters today are Sebastian. He is our director of cybersecurity here at NAR, and Adam, who is one of our cybersecurity analysts. So today we're going to take you through the cybersecurity best practices. Sebastian will start us off by going through some very important information with you on keeping your data safe. I'll then do a section on what's been happening out in the world and some good practices and guidelines to keep your information safe at very little cost. And then we'll end with with Adam. We always call him our resident hacker, and he's going to talk to you again about some of the vulnerabilities realtors can face because of the way hackers do their business. So we'll go ahead and get started with Sebastian.
So, hello, everyone. Again, my name is Sebastian, and I'm IT Security Director at NAR. And then I will be talking a little bit about, what's going on with the cybersecurity, around the real estate. So I will start a little bit with just to talk a little bit about the landscape and why the real estate is a target for the cyber threats and for the attacks. It is because we are actually in charge of some valuable information, like the financial information, the PII information, which is the personal information of our customers. So we are a valuable target for these bad guys. And last 2 years, we saw a couple of different attacks. I just listed a couple of them to just go through them and what actually happened. So everybody probably hear about the Rapatoni and the MLS system provider, which get hit by the ransomware. This attack was in the mid-August, and it left many real estate agents unable to add or update the property listing, which was pretty bad. And I think from that type of attacks, we kind of learned that, oh well, even if we didn't get attacked, but some of other third party, well, then we get affected. The other attack which I want to mention here is the Fidelity National Financial. That was happening actually in the late November of 2023, and they get hit by a group called Black Cat, another ransomware group which exposed approximately 1.3 million customer data on the dark web. It was pretty bad, but for this organization, what actually happened next, they actually get a class action lawsuit, which probably will expose them to even more expense for this breach. Another incident which I want to mention is the Mr. Cooper, which is like the largest mortgage provider. And this breach actually exposed almost 50 million customer data. And it probably happens because of some of the vulnerabilities of their systems, but that kind of highlight how this type of a disruption can paralyze the industry. And the last one which I want to mention is the attack, which is pretty recent. It happened in January. It was a Loan Depot. They exposed around 16 million of the customers. All of the basically sensitive information kind of was put in the dark web, and they fight back. They fight it back. They actually turn off all the systems to, try to mitigate, to not expose, even more. But that also, put the significant, expense to their basically the business. Can we go to the next, Chris? Next, I would like to talk a little bit about statistics. I know this is a little bit boring, but the data don't lie. So just want to show a little bit how often our industry getting hit by the cyber criminals, and it's pretty significant because based on all the breaches which happened, 70% actually was going after our industry. And then from some other statistics, I just want to highlight, why it's so important to take a look in the cybersecurity, because cost and time is actually very expensive. On average, one breach costs around $4.5 million. I finished on the cost and time. So the cost is pretty significant, and on average is $4.5 million for one breach. And it also takes a lot of time to resolve it. And why it's happened like that? Because it's not just about, like restoring your systems, but there's also, some other things which you have to do. So for example, if you have a data breach, most likely you will have to provide to your customers something like the identity protection. And there's possibility that you will go through some losses and other things. So that's why it takes pretty long. Another thing is that a lot of organizations really don't know they get breached. They actually, they usually find out from FBI when they knock to their door and say, hey, your data was on the dark web. Unfortunately, as you think, a lot of it's coming from hacking, but it's really not. A lot of attacks actually coming from the human error. And 74% of breaches, it's done by human mistakes. So someone will basically put some data somewhere where they should not, and then that data basically get exposed. So training is a key here, which I know Chris will be talking a lot about that, and I will a little bit emphasize on this later. And why actually it happens so often? Well, as we can see, the cost, right? And part of the cost is, for example, the fee which they would take with the ransom. So in a lot of breaches, the people actually pay. So that's why they're doing that. And unfortunately, the prosecution rate in US is very low. It's 0.5%. And it happens because a lot of these attacks it started from the outside of the US. So we really don't have a legal ways of going after these bad guys. So that's why it's so lucrative, and then I guess so easy to do. And then that's why they are doing this. And because of that, there is a more and more of the identity theft reports, because our data will get breached on one of these breach or other breach. And it almost looks like on the dark web you can find more information about yourself than you really know. And it's starting to be like that. It's not just your credit cards, it's your browsing history, sometimes actually what you even do, because if you are a little bit more famous, then they basically will put some records on where you are and what you're doing. So I think big thing here is that awareness gap, which I mentioned in the last statistics, that most of the folks in US, they don't know how to check even if my data was breached, or what to do if that actually happened. So awareness is the key here. Now I just want to talk a little bit about some predictions. And I think everybody knows that word, AI. It's a buzzword which is everywhere now. So from my predictions, it's no different. I think there will be more AI-driven attacks, because now not only the regular people can use the AI, but also these bad guys, so they can craft a better suited attacks. That also will make the cost of the breaches higher, because they can deploy these attacks quicker. And the preventive measures also will have to basically look more into artificial intelligence. What I'm really hoping that what will change, that some regulatory changes will basically say how AI should work, and that's actually already started happening. I saw there was some changes recently about some privacy, but still I think it's a little bit Wild West. And and then you guys already will find probably from Chris' presentation that certain vendors which provide the AI access already get breached. So it's very important to be, I would say, precaution with using some new tools, and then really with sharing your personal information to those tools, because nowadays there's no regulation yet which really will protect you to full extent. So you have to be careful. Can you go to the next? So this is the perfect segue. So I create this picture with artificial intelligence to just show you guys how the hacker will look, which will prepare a ransomware attack. I'm not sure if I have full rights to this picture, but artificial intelligence said I did, so I feel safe with that. But this is a perfect segue to what I want to talk next. Okay, what next? And I want to talk a little bit about ransomware. So this is one of the most significant attacks, and probably we all are worried that we can be a victim of the ransomware. But what it is? So ransomware itself, it's the type of malicious software which, when it gains access to your computer, will encrypt all the data on it, make it inaccessible. And most likely when they're actually doing that, they also will download all your data. So just in case if you have backups, they will basically, try to do it extortion, where they will say that if you don't pay, we'll share your information on the dark web, making a breach. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about how ransomware works. So the first step is that these bad guys will create some application, or nowadays they not even have to create anything. They can use something called ransom as a service, where they will reach out to the organization which pre-built application, and they will actually attack for you. And based on the attack and the outcome, you will just share your gains. When they actually have that software, then they will craft some social engineering attack, and most likely this can be like a phishing email, where they will put a software or a web link inside of the email, and then when the user actually click the email, the next step is that they will be able to download all the data from your computer, and and then when they actually finish with downloading, then they will encrypt everything, so make it inaccessible. And the easiest way to kind of find out that you are getting the ransomware malware on your computer is that things starting to get inaccessible. And usually they also will put like kind of like a notes, which will automatically pop on your computer saying, oh, you're getting ransomware. And then they will give you instructions on how to get the decryption key, because that's how they basically get you. They encrypt everything. And then if you want to get it back, you have to have a decryption key, which you will get it if you pay them, and usual in some Bitcoin. So how it's spread? It can spread to like a remote desktop protocols. It can spread over malicious URLs. It can spread basically through some web ads, which not necessarily you can even, like look for it or whatever, but they basically will pop, you will click, and then that automatically can install some software on your computer, which basically will then, take over and encrypt everything what you have on your computer. And then if you can click a couple of times, that will be easier, Chris. So they will actually pop. So how you can protect yourself to limit the impact of ransomware? To be honest, there is no foolproof solution for that, because these attacks getting changed, the malware getting changed, and we learn every month that there is something new, which basically some organization get a victim of. I think important is to have a backups. If you work for a large organization, then most likely you will have some incident response plan, which is built for the ransomware. But if you are like a small brokerage, or like a one kind of a person company, then you can basically work a little bit on your own incident response. So having backups, this is huge, because these ransomware attacks sometimes come random. You can basically open a spam email and then you get ransomware. So you should also review your settings, making sure you are not full admin on the computer, because if you do, then any malware which you download to your computer will automatically be an admin. Again, develop plans and policies. That's mostly for the large organizations, but even for your small organization, if you are a pretty small brokerage, you can create like a checklist. What I do if this happened, where I store my passwords, how to change them, train your team on all that type of task, because in case of the incident, it's a chaos. Nobody knows what to do. So written plan is very good for that type of situation. I think the best protection is actually training and awareness. And I would say, well, this is almost free. There is automated platforms which you can purchase, which can do that for you, like KnowBe4, but you can really do this by yourself. And by doing the training and awareness, you're getting right away the better security. You will save some money on the cost and downtime on the cybersecurity breach, because people will know what they do. Also, people, when they get trained, they feel more productive, because they don't have those feelings like what will happen if. They basically will know what they're supposed to do. It also helps with the compliance, since if you train your employees and and you tell them, for example, how to handle the data, especially if something has to be handled in a different way than the regular information, then that will help you be compliant. And there is different regulations, like if you store medical information, you need to know what to do with type of records. Or if, for example, if you deal with credit cards for the PCI standard, you have to also know how to handle that type of information. So all of that, it can be taught, and then it's actually very good if you do so, because that also will help with your customer trust. And I think it's also good to educate your customers. So if you work directly with people, educate them on the cybersecurity, and also tell them what we do, that we train our employees. I think that's the win-win for both sides, and can help definitely lower the risk of the cybersecurity attack. And then from that, I can give the mic to Chris, and she can talk a little bit more about the cybersecurity training and awareness.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. And one of the things that I always start with is the word awareness. And as Sebastian mentioned, there's no cut and dried way to stop this, protect it, make it never happen. So that's why I always emphasize the word awareness. Let's be aware of what threats are out there, what we can be vulnerable to, and hopefully after a while, it becomes a routine activity when you run across one of these situations. So just to give you an idea of what happens, and as Sebastian pointed out, the immense cost. And we'll have a slide of resources, great resources at the end. This is one of them, the Identity Theft Resource Center, and they collect information on all the reported data breaches. And just in the first quarter alone, there were 841 compromises, which hit 28 million victims. So as Sebastian said, it is absolutely widespread. If we look at the top companies that were hit, number 3, professional services, that's where our real estate brokerages fall under. So it hasn't stopped, it hasn't slowed down, and it is hitting all segments of companies and industries. Some more great information. This comes from the FBI's IC3 division, which is basically their cybercrime division. And they took a look at the last 5 years of where these crimes are, where they come from. And you will look at the bottom, absolutely number 1 is phishing, right? It's easy, it's cheap, it's free. You throw it out there, and even if 2 or 3 people fall for it, for some of these hackers, that's a lot of money. That's a win-win for them. And that is where we find human error the most. And the FBI also takes a look at the costs. And if you look at the second one on this list, BEC, business email compromise, right? That's when a buyer gets an email from their broker and it looks good and everything looks legitimate. And that can be the start of wire fraud, which is big in the real estate industry. Or an email goes to the accounting staff. It looks like it's from their chief financial officer, oh, we have to pay money here or whatnot. And they follow the instructions in the email. And that's $2.9 billion. And so that is the biggest monetary part of this. So one of the things I like to look at is, so what's been happening? And anyone here in Chicago heard this one, but Northwestern University's medical school is downtown in Chicago, right near the NAR building. And one of their largest is their children's hospital. It's a very well-known, highly ranked children's hospital in the US. They got hit in January 2024 with ransomware. It took out their emails, their phones, their medical charts. And keep in mind, this is a pediatric hospital. They even had to set up an 800 number so parents could call and find a way to see how their kids were doing. They recovered in March of 2024. It took them that long to do so. And part of the problem was they had a lot of their important systems in one place. So when the hackers got in through ransomware and got in one place, doors were open for them in all the other places. Another one, and Sebastian mentioned this, AI, the hottest thing out there right now. Well, guess what? ChatGPT, one of the favorites, they got hit in March 2023, and this breach exposed over 1 million of their usernames, email, credit card information, and it was a software bug, right? So somebody was able to take advantage of a software bug that they had in their software that would let user A see user B's information, and it was very easy to gather up that data. And another one, Bank of America in November, they exposed 57,000 customers' name, address, date of birth, social security number. And of course, this put Bank of America in the headlines. Well, the breach happened at one of their third-party vendors, and statistics will show you that most of the breaches will happen that way. So this was a company that ran the managed deferred compensation or retirement accounts that were held at Bank of America. So, they got the publicity, but it was their third-party vendor. Now, one of the things that we'll take a look at, and I'm about to talk about some guidelines you can use both in your business and in your personal information. So you can have fantastic firewalls, encryption, antivirus, and all that stuff, but you still have Dave. We still have the human element, and that's what we want to work on to make the job of these bad actors a little harder. One of the most important steps, I believe, and this is a free one, is data retention and destruction. Whether you're an association or you're a brokerage or even in your personal life, take a look at all of those documents you have, paper and electronic, and determine what is the best business practice on how long you should keep that information. And then even more important, when you've come up with your timeline, you need to destroy those documents, those records when it's time. Disk space is cheap is not a very good retention policy. A few years ago, Capital One was in the news. Data breach exposed 15 years of credit card applications. They're a bank, for goodness sakes. There was no reason for them to have that much information. I always say they should have worried a little less about what's in your wallet and a little more about what's on their file server. A data breach is embarrassing. A data breach is costly. Notifying folks, buying the credit check system for them. So don't make it worse by going, oh my gosh, excuse me, I have data records for sellers and buyers I haven't worked with in 20 years, or I have records for agents who haven't been with my brokerage in 10 years. Please come up with a retention policy and destroy that data when it's time. Keep your software up to date. Sebastian mentioned this as well. With your laptop, keep your browsers up to date. Make sure you have the updates to the latest antivirus, malware. And I remember when iPhones first came out and people said, oh, it's wonderful, they're invincible, you can't breach them. Yes, you can. They are just as vulnerable to viruses and malware as laptops. So please make sure you keep your phone and tablets up to date, especially with our realtor members, right? They can be on that mobile phone even more than a laptop. A lot of times with both Android and iPhone, those notices you keep getting about new version, is often full of security patches. So you always want to make sure that and any applications that you have on your phone, you keep up to date. Now, I mentioned something about third party, and that is the weakest point when it comes to cybersecurity. I mentioned Capital One, the 15 years worth of credit card applications. That breach actually happened at the cloud service they use, where they stored that by a former employee of that cloud service. Bank of America, that was a third party. Going years back to Target, that was a third party. So think about where you store your data and your software. Are you using a cloud? Do you have a third-party client relationship management system that you use? If you're an association, an AMS system or an MLS provider that you use, you need to make sure that you and your legal folks go through those agreements and those contracts. You need to know what data they have, the use and misuse of data, as I call it, what they can use the data for and what they cannot. Are their own employees trained on cybersecurity best practices? Do they have a security audit each year? And do you get that information from them? Because again, like I say, it's your name in the headlines, usually not that third party behind the curtain. Also, just have an inventory of where your data is. So if you wake up one morning and hear about a breach at Happy Cloud Systems, you're not like, oh no, what data did we store there? So always make sure you have very tight terms of use and agreements and contracts with any third party. And also inventory who and what, as I call it. Associations, your staff, brokerages, your staff, your agents, who has access to what? And does everybody need access to everything? Usually not. You want to try and make that circle smaller because then you'll be less vulnerable. And that way, if an employee leaves an association, you have it, oh, yep, they had access to log into our bank. I need to go and cut that off. Agents had access into your customer database. You need to cut that off. So you just want to make sure to keep the circle as small as you can while people can still do their business. Now, a big one, and Sebastian mentioned this as well, data privacy and protection. The European Union started it with GDPR, trying to make sure that people's data was private and secure. We currently do not have a federal data protection and privacy law in the US. There are some specialty ones like HIPAA for health information. There's one for student information, but not nationwide. So a lot of states have sort of taken up the flag and are doing it themselves. California, Colorado, Vermont. And just be aware that all of those state privacy laws, as well as data breach notification, cover the residents of that state. So even though I am located in the state of Maryland, if I have any buyers or sellers or members in California, I must follow all laws in California about protecting that data. And California itself has some of the strongest data privacy and protection laws. So be aware of what they are, be aware of your liability and responsibility, because as Sebastian mentioned, a data breach can be quite expensive, even to the point of having to mail a breach notification to everyone who was in your database. Now, one of the things we want to remember with cybersecurity and protecting our data and the bad guys coming after us is we're all human, which is a good thing. And we don't want to change that. But we have to be aware. We have to be aware. That means we start from a position of trust. So I'm more likely than not to trust an email that I just got from my broker because I'm working on selling my house and we've communicated before. We also want to help others. So somebody's asking me for something, I might tend to say, yes, let me get that for you. I'll help you. And we want to deliver service quickly. So sometimes we just jump to step 2 without taking a pause. And many times I will hear from members, hey, what's the best antivirus? What's the best anti-malware? And a lot of times I'll say the one that's not free. But the one that is free is available to everyone, and it's called Common Sense. And anyone will tell you, take a few moments up front to verify something, because the back-end cleanup of a data breach, it takes much longer and is much more expensive. One of the things I can tell you by working with Realtor e-commerce, talking to all the banks and credit card companies, they will never, ever send you an email asking you to click a link to give the credentials because you have to check your bank balance. Those are all bogus. Would this person normally email you this request? Have you been working with this person? Be careful of that attachment. Again, take a pause up front, because it's not bad customer service to take a minute or two to check that email, check that, they're coming after you with phishing. Don't give away the story. It's hard, I know, as realtors, right? Because it's all about customer relations and networking, and you've got the Facebook and you've got the Instagram and you've got the LinkedIn, but just edit a little bit so you're not giving away everything about yourself, because that's what these bad actors do, and they start to craft their phishing campaigns based on that. And that's why I say you just want to keep the personal private. This will help both with your business information as well as your personal information, because if somebody knows all the details about you, it's very easy to do a targeted phishing campaign. So you always want to be careful of that. So now I'm going to turn it over to Adam, who's going to talk to you about some of these hackers. Adam.
All right. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about hackers, some of the techniques they use, and then I'll talk about one kind of specifically and give a demonstration kind of So generally speaking, there's two types of hackers. There's the good guys and bad guys. They wear different hats. The white hat hackers are people like me and Sebastian. So we work for large organizations and we have authorization from that company to use some of those hacking techniques so we can identify vulnerabilities at that organization and then recommend the process to remediate them or make the company safer. So there's a lot of things that we cover, everything from key card access into the building, the personal devices that the people have, the servers at their offices, and the websites. Black hat hackers are going to be the criminals. So those are the ones that are doing these attacks, and they're anywhere from basic scamming emails or phone calls all the way up to organized crime. So you have individuals that will go out and perform some hacking techniques just on their own, try and get some money. There's also ones that will kind of get together and form an organized crime group. Some locations, they've actually gone somewhat mainstream and they'll rent out an office building. They'll have all their desks set up. They'll offer health care and a salary to their staff, have a call center, and they really go after the majority of people. They'll send phishing campaigns out to 1 million people. They have all of these staff, and then they'll collectively gather all of the money that they acquire and split it amongst them. We also have state-sponsored organizations, Russia, North Korea, as well as the United States. The U.S. has a cyber defense team that will start protecting our own interests and kind of go out and figure out what they can. So in between the white hat and black hat, you have this gray area that a lot of hackers kind of fall into. And these people kind of have a moral and legal gray area because their mindset is that a lot of the information should be open source and available to anybody. So they push the limits of what is actually legal and not. And they will kind of do whatever they want. So a lot of these people are like researchers. They like doing reverse engineering, figuring out how things work. And in doing so, they'll find bugs in software. So they'll find that, you know, your phone, there's an application you have, they were able to reverse engineer it and get all this information that necessarily wasn't supposed to be disclosed. And they will offer that information to the company in what's called a bug bounty. So a bug bounty is they'll come to the company and say, hey, I found this bug. Will you pay me for that information so that you can resolve it on your own? Or I'll sell it on the dark web and it could potentially be used by a criminal organization to get that some information from. So some of the hacking terms and techniques that they use, this isn't a complete list, but it gives you kind of an idea on the mentality of hackers. A lot of this is fun for them. Like a lot of these names are kind of puns on different things. So, you know, sniffing, war driving, phishing, whaling, all these different things are just ways that they have found to gather information. There's no name for it. So they come up with something that's, you know, kind of fun for them to do. So wireless technology over the course of the last 20 years or so has come a really long way. In the late 90s or early 2000s, I remember having wireless internet at your home was not very common. And actually setting it up was really complicated. If you had too many people using Wi-Fi at the same time, you'd have trouble connecting, you'd have all these different issues. And as technology has progressed, internet speeds have gotten faster. All of these protocols have advanced with it. So now we have, you know, everything basically connecting to wireless internet. But phones, same kind of thing. Back in the day, it was your phone made phone calls and sent text messages, and now it's basically a computer. And those technologies have developed and more efficient and better security standards have been implemented into these things as they've expanded. Because you also have wireless technology for all different sorts of things, key card access into a building, your key fob for your car, and this concept of the Internet of Things. So on the next slide. So the Internet of Things is all of those random peripheral things that we now have. So in my house, I have my doorbell, door lock, thermostat, TV, tablets, outlets, switches, my refrigerator, even my dishwasher are all connected to the internet. And, you know, when my dishwasher completes a cycle, it sends me a text message, an email, it plays a song and does all of these things. It's not necessarily, you know, needed. If it just, you know, wash the dishes, that would be great. But it poses some potential security risks as well, and something called a botnet. So a botnet is when any of these kind of peripheral IoT devices is compromised from the outside world. And a lot of people don't realize that any of these random devices you connect to the internet, a lot of times will call home. They'll call out to some random server online. You don't really know what it is. And if you have an off-brand, no-name brand device to some extent, when that company goes defunct and someone picks up the server address that all these devices are calling home to, they can take advantage of that and create a botnet. A botnet is where they control all of these devices throughout the world, and they can use it for distributed attacks. So your dishwasher could be part of an attack against someone's website and you not even realize it. So this demonstration works a little bit better in person, but there's a number of wireless attacks that can be performed. This one is called an evil portal attack. And there's a device you can buy on Amazon that has a number of these different kind of modules in there that you can run. This one I ran at the RLM conference a couple months ago. And essentially I can create a wireless network and call it whatever I want. This one was similar to the network that was available for all of the conference participants. So I just kind of set it up, wait for someone to connect to it, and it brings them to what looks like a normal Google sign-in page. So a lot of times if you're at a hotel, a conference, whatever, you connect to a network and it sends you to, you know, a login page. Log in with your hotel room number or your conference ID. And this is a fake page. So you enter in that information, it sends it to me, and then it gives you internet access. So you probably don't even realize that your account information has been compromised, but it's been collected by me, and you connect to the internet and go about your day. So there's a lot of different techniques like this, devices that are available online for anyone to use.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to do is just leave you with this screen, and then I'll ask Albert if we have any questions. But here are some great resources that you all can access. And one of them is on nar.realtor, put together by our legal folks, IT, advocacy, etc., on data privacy and security resources. And there are great articles there, podcasts, checklists, great checklists for realtors on checking on keeping their data private and secure. So a great resource. I had mentioned the Identity Theft Resource Center. They're a not-for-profit organization that tracks all reported data breaches. So you can go in there and take a look at all the latest ones. You know, because if your dentist's office is breached, it's not going to be on the nightly news, but it will be there on the Identity Theft Resource Center. The FBI's IC3 division is great. They have a lot of statistics. They track, you know, number of crimes, the monetary costs, et cetera. And another one I really like is the Verizon Data Breach Report. It comes out every year, so the newest one is out there. And they have great information on future trends, as Sebastian was talking about. And they also break it down by industry. So you can take a look at what are the big issues in the healthcare industry or professional services, et cetera. So I really encourage you all to take advantage of these great resources on cybersecurity. And then I will turn it back to the folks in California to see if anybody has any questions or final thoughts, et cetera.
Yeah, let's thank you. Let's definitely open it up to Q&A. We've got the mic ready here. There's any questions?
Yes, hold on.
Yeah, we're bringing the mic over and we'll go from there.
Yes, good morning. First of all, thank you so very much for the presentation and the information. I was curious, how does VPNs help with security breaches, and will that help, I guess, deter some of these these hackers?
I'm going to turn that over to Adam, because Adam's always my go-to guy on VPNs and what's coming in the future. Adam?
Okay. So the way a VPN works is it'll encrypt all of your internet traffic so that it's private. Now that'll kind of protect you to a certain extent from someone intercepting your network traffic and snooping or having like a man in the middle type of a technique. What it won't necessarily protect you from is if you were to download a virus on your computer or malware. Just because you're on a VPN doesn't mean it's going to block all of those sorts of things. It'll help you when you're on like hotel internet. It'll make all of that, your data, private, but you're going to also need to rely on antivirus software on top of that.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
Hi. Earlier, it was on the screen about the top 5, I think, tech crimes. And I understood the phishing and non-payment. I've seen plenty of that. Could you give some examples of how the tech support and the extortion is violated?
Sure. So those statistics came from the FBI's IC3 division. And for them, extortion is a crime whether you're doing it online or not. And extortion is usually that these bad actors in one of these many data breaches has received personal information about you. And extortion is when they threaten to expose that information unless you pay them. They often do this with celebrities. Several years ago, there was the situation where Sony movie studios got breached, and all these private emails between, actors and directors and producers, and a lot of information maybe they wouldn't want out in the public. So extortion works the same way, whether it's the old-fashioned paper ways or now that's a crime where somebody threatens to expose something about you. They want something from you, and hey, now I have this information I can release about you. And the other one you had mentioned, I'm sorry, I had forgotten which one that was.
Tech support.
Tech support.
You got it, Chris?
Yeah, tech support is usually when somebody exploits the vulnerabilities of their IT or technical support area. Adam, if you had any further information on how that vulnerability or crime basically can happen.
There's actually a movie out called The Beekeeper. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but it's the general idea that you get this alert on your computer that says, there's an issue with your computer, contact tech support and we'll take care of it for you. And it's not a legitimate tech support company. So that goes back to those organized crime networks that are set up in these different places where they'll sit there and they'll wait for someone to call their tech support. And they'll get into their system, lock it down, and they can try and pull their bank account login information off of their computer. And it's all on that front that people think they're calling a legitimate tech support company.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Adam.
Chris, I do have a question. This is Albert. Our members recently received email from maybe phishing, and is talking about renewing their certification, association called National Association Certification Real Estate Professional. and asked them to renew. And one of the members walked in yesterday. She says she clicked on it. She almost put the credit card number in the field to pay for this renewal. She thought it's either coming from NAR or our association. So what kind of warning should we let our members know this kind of phishing so dangerous to our members? I get at least two. I want to stop, or they send me another one, say exactly the same, but different email address. I think the first thing we have to look at where it's coming from and determine. Yeah, please.
That is absolutely correct, Albert. And we have that here with our staff through, as Sebastian mentioned, we have a KnowBe4, which they use to send phishing to our staff, right, to help them recognize something. And one of the number one things first is look at the sender. And sometimes when you're on your phone and it's a much smaller screen, you sort of miss that important step. But absolutely look at the sender first, hover over it. Where is it from? Because they can easily misspell something, right? I could put a California Association of Real, Realtors, and you might not see that, right? You're in a hurry and you didn't notice that that was misspelled, and it's not CAR, or it's not NAR. So when in doubt, I always say, look at that sender. And if it's not one you're absolutely familiar with, stop. And then if you're a member, contact your local association or contact NAR to, what is this? And did this come from NAR? And NAR's member support group that answers all the members' calls can easily let them know if that's a bogus email or not.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's before we close it out, any last questions? Oh, we got one more.
Do you guys get a lot of cases with hacks with Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, or anything like that? I had a recent case where they gave me a good lead and they wanted to connect me and they wanted to hack my account basically to hold it ransom. But is that a common thing also around?
I will open that to Adam or Sebastian on what you guys hear when it comes to Facebook and Instagram vulnerabilities.
So we don't necessarily have as big of an issue with that. Most of the NAR staff aren't realtors, and I know realtors have a larger presence on social media, so they have more of that come up as an issue. What I can say is you generally want to have different passwords for different accounts. So your social media accounts, you want to keep separate from your email, so that if you have your email get compromised or your Facebook gets compromised, at least they're not taking over everything. The other thing you can do is report fake accounts. I know a lot of times that's what happens is they'll create an account that looks like it's you, and they'll start kind of propagating through your friends list to kind of make it look more legit. You can report those as being fake. But yeah, being careful with what links you're clicking on. A lot of times when you hover over the link on a computer, it'll show it to you. If it looks funky, you don't want to click on it. On your phone, sometimes you can do like a long hold on the link and see what it is and make sure it's not something that's kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Adam. And yes, and I've heard that plenty of times as well, especially with Facebook or LinkedIn. You see those ads, they're not always good ones. Or take this quiz to find out what Disney princess you are. So yeah, there can be malware and get through that way as well. So yes, as Adam said, and we tell our staff this as well, passwords should be complicated and they should be different for every site you go to.
Very good. I think you guys did us right. You answered all our 20 questions. I don't see any other further questions from our audience. So I want to just, on behalf of Western Gable Valley Realtors, just thank you, Chris, Sebastian, Adam. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much. It was our pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much.
So our next topic is going to be introduced by our very own Melissa. She really went out of her way to help her. So I just want to thank her. She's going to introduce our next guest speaker and topic. So take it away, Melissa.
I'm so happy to introduce Dr. Jerry Gao, Professor Gao from San Jose State University. Actually, he's my best friend for past many years. And he's also the research center director. And he's going to talking about the AI-powered real estate industry for today and the future. Very advanced technology. And then he's located in San Francisco right now, and this through Zoom. And I hope you're going to enjoy this seminar and then ask many, many questions, okay? Okay, Professor Gao, you can start it.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much to give me this chance. It's my honor and pleasure to talk to you. Thanks, Melissa and Jeff and Arbor for your invitation. And initially, several months ago, Melissa asked me, say, we have, the tech summit. Are you interested to talk? I'm actually not really the expert in real estate, but we have been working on AI for a long time. Okay, so I go ahead to provide brief information. I have been working on many things related to smart. Okay, smart cities, smart agriculture, smart green energy, and also doing the smart surveillance too. So we already have worked on with some investor together, have a different kind of product ready to go, okay? And recently I got approached by several investor interest talk about real estate. So that's why I went ahead, prepared these slides. And please bear with me because this slides give you some overview about what's going on in the real estate business, especially how are you going to use AI, and this will show my vision of AI real estate using AI today technology. How do you can improve your life and get better business, okay? So first, before I started, I must give you one slide, tell you what's the difference between these terms. You see AI and machine learning, deep learning, and also you heard a lot about generative AI, okay? So basically, in this slides, you see the major difference. AI is a bigger scope, machine learning is a subset, and deeper learning is a subset of machine learning, and generative AI is a subset of deeper learning. So you probably say, what AI can do? In the left side, I show you what AI give you. In AI give you several things. First, machine learning is a part of it. They give you training and learning capability. You have a different approach to do learning. So based on your learning, you can do more programming, automation and decision making. The second part is NLA. That's for natural language. You heard a lot of ChatGPT and so on. These are related to this piece, okay? So they can understand the language, and classify what you talk about, and also give you translation. So you heard a Google translation actually fit into this. And also there are a lot of text generation. So later on, we will share you some text generation could be useful for you. Then expert system, this kind of application has been used for a long time. When I study my PhD program, we already have expert system available. Nowadays, expert system will be powered by more intelligent to help you answer some questions. So you could have expert system answer the question related to real estate. Okay, and then you have a computer vision. There are a lot of computer vision application in your real estate too. So mostly popular used now is for industrial computer vision system and also autonomous car computer vision system. In smart city, also there are many useful for surveillance camera and illegal dumping and crime detection analysis. These are computer vision related. Then you see some robotics, planning, and also speech. So this has been used for a long time. Now let's check what the data in your real estate industry. I summarized here, but could be more than that. It could be weather and also geometric related data, like is it earthquake related, flooding area, and so on. These data would be useful to check the risk of your real estate. And also school information, especially the school district information for your real estate industry. So these data usually are available. The question is whether is aware analysis and also has AI powered analysis is still question. Okay. For market analysis, I remember when I purchased a house here, my real estate agent showed me some market data, talk about last month, what has been sold, and so on. But this information is not dynamic. Now you can get a real estate market data, all the trading information, market information dynamically. That's very good. Plus the community data, like demographics, what kind of a ratio in different area, and also what kind of community, about a crime related area, and all these is another kind of data could be useful. Of course, finally is a listing and selling and data in the past, maybe several years in any location. If you have this, you can click and search and find it. That's the big data. Now, question is, in my view, what will happen in the AI real estate industry for today and for future? So in this talk, I will provide something already existing, and meanwhile, I'll give me my vision about future AI. Here, show you 3 pieces. In my opinion, the AI system supporting the real estate industry will be 3 kinds. One is related to agents. Try to support agents. So there are some assistance tool available now, but it's not very comprehensive. Ideally, you should have a comprehensive tool to support agent to do whatever they need to do. Second is support a customer. If some people want to buy property or looking for houses, they can check. So these are the tools should be available to support a customer. The last one is support a broker. So all the brokerage firm, ideally, they need to have a set of different AI-powered system together to provide and support their agent and their customer. So now, in my presentation below, I give you an idea for each perspective. The first thing I show you is these are the typical area you could be useful using AI technology. Okay. Like for property evaluation, they could give you better and accurate and even give you prediction. Okay, before you only can do analysis. Using AI, they can do prediction for you. Usually this prediction could be short-term prediction, could be mid-term prediction, okay? So you have a different kind of prediction, either value-based or either trend-based. So you say, okay, in next week, is it go up or go down? These kind of things they can do, okay? Second is a target customer. I think most real estate people would love to see that. If you have a lot of customer information, especially the information for all the property owners, and also the information about these rental property, rental people, okay, then give you idea who will be the target for you. So you have this data, then easy for you to narrow down the pool of a potential buyer, okay? This AI can help you. Okay? The other thing is a risk and insurance people. You have something could help insurance people to check the risk and check the weather, geo data to give you idea what kind of risk it could be, okay? And then you have a marketing strategy for For people, real estate agent has a lot of customer or have a potential customer, they should have setting some strategy for them and have some discussion. The AI will give you some strategy. I'll give you some recommendation for you. Then you have analysis. These analysis, so you probably asked me what's the difference between AI-powered real estate data analysis and just common currently the data analysis. Two major difference. Mostly the data analysis in current practice is a human-based. You have a database, put out some report for you. Then you need a digging and compare analysis. For AI-based, give you a lot of advantage. I will have some PPT later slides show you the detail. What's data analysis? When you're using AI, then could provide you. Mostly have a two area. One is a real time they can give you, okay? Second, they can do comparison, auditing, evaluation, search. All these are automatic. So automatic is a one important benefit when you're using AI powered, okay? Plus the decision making. So when you talk to buyer, potential buyer, and talk to other agent, usually I think it's very hard to convince them what kind of a price they should give it, right? So if you have AI tool, you can just show them this is more objective to provide a potential decision for you. I'll give you the recommendation. This is chart here. Okay, I show you. Let me move this one. Customer chat, and we understand some people say, I have a text chat, but what's the difference between the AI-powered chat system, they call chatbot, and your current chat system? Mostly current chat system is like a frequent question answer. And AI-powered customer support, chatbot or chat GTP, whatever, they will give you human-like communication between you, your business, and your potential customer, okay? The other one here is the evaluation, appraisal. These all give you objective and also atomic, automatic, and the recommendation and the prediction value for you, okay? Here I list the three things. We will show you one by one later, okay? So as a real estate agent, these are the AI solution could provide you. Okay, we already talked about market analysis, the community analysis, customer chatbot. I will talk about chatbot later in detail. And evaluation, appraisal, plus even they give you other one. Okay, so they give you property search. If you're setting your search criteria, the AI system will automatically search for you. And then later on remind you all the time, whenever you need it. This is a AI special solution. They give you advantage. Lead generation, that's also based on the existing past or current selling and the deal closer. They will check the potential close by a customer and buyers. This is the lead agent generation they can show you, okay? And staging, and this, there's some software already available. They show you how to do listing and also how do you do staging with the AI tool help you. This on another one is check the fraud and give you some more detailed, diligent check. With data and AI solution, they will help you. Okay. Now let's check what other things they have you. For property listing, currently they have several tools available for you. Okay, you can do based on those checking data, then you can make these happen. Okay, you can do feature extraction based on the property search. You can list fast to do listing. There's a tool available to help you to do listing. The general listing, if you already say, I already know how to do listing. So what's the difference between this listing and my current listing? Yeah, we will show you some example. Usually they can have several things. They assume it's automatic. Second, they convince you it's more better quality. Okay, and even they can based on the other data, not just your human eyes. They based on the 360-degree computer video to check your housing features. Then they can give you a good quality listing generation. Even the description, they can give you better, accurate language and fast, easy to generate for you. Okay. Here we list some existing solution available. You could say this could be one example, but bear with me. I don't get any commission for this company. Okay, I just search something for you to see these are the popular, or you can say base rated, best rated listing software tool available. Some is free, some require money and license. Okay, so you can see some of ChatGPT also can do for you. Okay, so these are several tool and software company. They offer you free listing, but you need interacting with the tool. So they can give you information and generate a listing for you. So these are staging. This show you the before and after, before and after. So when you have, most time when you have a house to sell, is an empty house. Many times they don't have anything inside. Okay. So with the staging AI, yeah, you can help you to do a better job to provide virtual video and virtual information. Okay. These are typical staging software. They give you all these potential advantage when you're using the software. So they indicate it could be selling better because your presentation is much better. Selling faster according to their experience. And then they have easy to do station. You don't need to purchase anything. So everything is digital, online. Okay. So that's some software tool already available. And I also list one example here. Okay. Now let's check this slide here. This show you the popular usage for real estate now. There's some company already have the solution for you. But whether this is a final, we don't know. You need to experience that. The most ChatGPT or whatever chat software available, we already created a different chat system for different company. Some is like a restaurant related, some for other purpose. Some is for company, or dentist, These are chat system, they have a name called Chatbot. Okay. Basically, Chatbot refer to intelligent chat software between a potential client and your system. That's the chat. Based on my experience, the current chat system mostly is text-based. We call text chat. Some chat system also support audio. You can talk to them without typing, okay? And then they also provide some emoji, okay? So currently, most advanced chatbot support these three: audio, text, and emoji. But as the time goes by, we will see more advanced chat system will come out. I'll give you example. For our chatbot we generated, we even can deal with the imaging input and also give you the imaging output. Okay. In the future, you could see a video too. For instance, when real estate agent want to talk to the potential buyer, if you have a chatbot, you hope the chatbot will bring some video for them, but you need to identify the right video. based on their questions. Okay, so that's the future. If you're adding the video feature in Chatbot, either with the automatic input or automatic output, depends. But currently, no Chatbot support video yet, just let you know. Okay. At the left side, I show you a different kind of Chatbot, could be useful. The first type is to support a customer. You already have a customer and coming to your website, and then they have some questions. They can automatically start to communicate with the chatbot. That's a typical we call customer chatbot. Okay. The other chatbot is I see many real estate website already provide 360-degree virtual tool. Unfortunately, the virtual tool don't have any explanation. Even you have illustration there, don't have an interactive question answer. So if you're adding the chatbot with your 360-degree virtual tool together, whenever they have a question, you can respond. That will be future chatbot for your real estate industry. Okay. The other one is also not existing yet, called real estate proactive chat. What this saying is, you have some potential client before. However, they probably don't talk to you anymore because maybe they're still waiting, or maybe they started looking for some other place. For those customers, ideally, you have this kind of proactive chatbot. What happens is that whenever you see something very close to what they needed, then this software will automatically kick out and start reach out to this customer and start a communication. So that's, you don't even need to worry about. They will do for you. That's the beauty, okay? The last one I show you is, in my opinion, this is also useful. We call on-demand live chat, okay? So whenever really needed, you can trigger the on-demand call and then start to communicate with the agent. If they accept the call, you can communicate each other. Okay. So for this left side, there's 4 different chatbot. Only the first one now in the real practice. The last 3 is not available yet. Although you have a virtual tool, but no chatbot supporting the virtual tool. Okay. So in case you have an interest, let me know. Okay. Yeah. That's the other thing I'm talking about here. The benefit for chatbot, there are some benefit for chatbot here. Okay. Of course, we know instant response. We can do qualification for you if you have AI. You also can setting the schedule if they have a positive response. You can also get their opinion, and always available 24 hours, every week, 7 days. Okay. Plus, you can personalize the engagement according to the customer. Okay. Maybe the customer already have a lot of question answer. In order to handle those particular client, you know what they look for. Then when you communicate with them, you could give a better response. Plus, there's a other situation. They expect that you will reduce a lot of effort, special interaction effort from agent and potential buyer. Then you have a better retention and engagement. The assumption here is your chatbot is good. If your chatbot is not good, that could help you. It could not help you. Okay, that's what happened. So I believe chatbot is really useful for any real estate agent, plus the broker. A technical perspective, in case you think you are a special industry, very special real estate business, or you're interested to creating something instead of use somebody's chatbot. Here, give you example, because most chatbot maybe is not customized for your business or for your area. So what do? you're probably setting either a small fund aside, ask somebody to help you to customize your chatbot based on existing chat. This is one example. If you have a small budget, okay, say, oh, especially the broker. I expect the broker, you need to do it because you have a lot of agent, right? You want to support them. So then you need to have these are the existing chatbot already available. Unfortunately, their data is not for real estate, okay? Not really for real estate. So what you do is that you need to find some company or some technical people to help you based on these chatbot, training with your data and provide with your frequent question answer. Then together you can customize a AI chatbot for your business. In case you have a large data, you have large budget, okay? Then you could do this one. You can hire a company and work on the really large data-based customer AI chatbot using these available technology, okay? Anyway, so there are two basic approach to do chatbot. One is a no coding involved. You're using some chatbot platform, service platform. They help you to do click selecting, and finally you form your chatbot. But the data still you need to provide, okay? The other one is a full-fledged tech stack for your chatbot. Of course, the first approach is more expensive. The second approach will be more cheaper. But you still need a tech people to support you. Here, give you some idea about programming language involved the chatbot, okay? Mostly people use Python and Java and Ruby's. That's what happened, okay? And for the framework, I show you some framework here. Use this framework. You could do large scale, more powerful, customized chatbot. Okay. There are some API. Some people say, I don't need a chatbot. I just need a simple chat system. Then you could have an API-based system deployed and using existing chat system. Talk to the API, provide a question and answer for you. Okay. This really depends on how powerful you need it. So here I listed a bunch of free real estate chatbot for you. They have some evaluation. I looked at from online. This is not my ranking, okay? Somebody else ranked for you. But you can see some require money, some don't require money, okay? But you need to try first, see which one suits you, okay? Which one suits you. Each chatbot here has different features. Some maybe is a feature you desire to have. Some probably don't have the feature you like. These are real estate data analysis using AI. So you already know what kind of data you have. The question is, I'm not sure whether you have all the data. I think, I believe for each broker, they have certain kind of data based on some proprietary database or based on their purchased data engine. The question is, if you have all the data, ideally, this data analysis could be useful. One is to give you a visual presentation, okay? So analysis, rankings, and distribution, those could be easily visualized, okay? With what we call big data visualization tool, okay? The other thing is the performance. You probably want to track and check what kind of a property or which city or which zip code has a better, selling records, and also has a lot of value performance. This also could be useful if you have a big database of good real estate data with the AI tool. they can help you, no doubt. And other things, the data blending, okay, you combine analysis with a various resource. That's the piece missing. Okay, I know there are several web systems. They claim they have all the data. The question you need to check whether some data you have. Most time, they only have a property data. If you're adding the school information, if you added the community information, then if you're adding the marketing information, they don't have it. So I can see some tool only do marketing data, some tool supporting the property data. Okay. The other thing is the interactive presentation. There are some tool already available for you. Offer dynamic engagement, some showcase, and so on. Okay. Ideally, the last one, you want to have a tool to show you the prediction, especially in particular property customer already have interest on. You want to show them what's the potential value. Okay. Here is the other piece called search. If you want to search property with AI, they can combine all these search together, give you comparison analysis. Okay. Currently, this piece not existing yet. For each these, you may find some tool already help you. You probably ask me, what the broker agency or business, what kind of AI you could use for? We understand these sites, you all need it, okay? But this is a special for broker, will be useful. Like a broker will make sure all the paper document will be completed with a quality and accuracy on time. Many times I know broker and agent work very hard to try to beat the schedule. Okay. So now with AI, yeah, this will be useful for you. They can do a lot of document analysis, processing for document, validation, quality check, even for loan processing, okay, for insurance processing. So insurance company will need this. Loan company will use that. But however, for your agent, you also need your own because you want to make sure all the document, signature, date, volume, value are correctly put on the document. Okay. So inspection is another one. There are some company already started to provide AI property inspection. So these give you the benefit if you have AI powered, okay, appraisals tools. They show you this in detail. Autonomic and also speed, precising, and real time. Okay, they can do comprehensive reporting for you and very efficient, cost saving. And you don't need to hire real. Even you hire appraisal, they probably also need this, so they can do more objective appraisal and valuation here. So give more detail, accuracy, and real-time adoption. Okay. This is for your API, AI-based. So I found a couple system available. Okay. They claim they can do AI-based real estate appraisal. These are their process here. Okay. They have a process here. So they with these three kind of data: property map data, assessment data, and also third-party data. They put together. Then they have a machine learning system to do the condition check. Okay. Then they have there could be a video here. Okay, and also the other data you collected. Then they do generation. Then they have adjustment. And then they have a review and submission. Okay. These are the interesting company, they provide the solution for you. You can try. I don't know whether they are doing good or not, but the concept looks good. Okay, concept looks good. Here's comparison between manual property valuation and AI property valuation. Very clear. If you have a human doing it, they probably has a bias, could be. Okay. They also need a costly for human. You need a hiring people to go there. And also they take time to generate report. They're quite slow. And this is very fast and automatic. And also more objective. Okay. And providing more analysis data. Okay. And could be standardized. Okay. Currently I do AI standardization now. And real estate, I think this is needed some standardization. Okay, make sure what kind of data should be included here. And how did you consider what kind of model you should apply? Okay, these are the typical way people already have an example to tell you how to use AI to provide real estate property valuation. The typical thing you need to do is you need to develop your own property valuation model, okay? And make sure this model has been well trained using a lot of data. You even can do it at the same time. You can have appraisal, human related, same time, you use this tool. You can compare and check, okay? So here's a flow diagram they provide. Talk about how to do in detail, step by step, okay? So you have a model. First, you need to have a data, then you generate model. When model trained, developed, then it should be deployed. After deploy, then you apply. Whenever your customer come in, they give you a lot of feature. So when you train the data, all these features will be useful for you. So if your particular party interest to develop that, they need to carefully selecting those feature data and parameters. This will affect your model quality, okay, model quality. Here's some screen dump I got from this company, C3 AI. They give you several screens. That means these solution they already implement, but I haven't used this tool, okay? And they have an interface here. They have a map-related location search. They have a marketing-related analysis. Then they have more detail appraisal here. Plus they have analysis according your selected parameters. Okay. I also provide a link here. If you're interested, you can check. Okay. But frankly, I never talked to the company. I only looked at the company website. Okay. Now let's go to the document analysis. First, let me tell you, when you apply AI, what's the document analysis? Okay. These are document analysis because I currently work on numerous projects. Okay. One kind of project is related to document. Okay. These are the example. But when you have AI, what document they can process? What kind of capability? First, pre-process. They can do sorting for you. If this is they can do pre-checking. Okay. Make sure no name missing. Those things they can do easily. Okay. The second thing, they can understand what the document is. For instance, figure understanding, diagram understanding, table understanding. They can do like that. Okay. And of course, they have other kind of analysis. They can do classification. So if you have a 100 document, provide to them, they can see which one is a title document, which one is a loan document, which one is a purchase agreement. They can check easily. Okay. This is called classification. They also can do review for you. Okay? They can check particular thing you're interested to look at it. For instance, you look at a signature. Yeah, they can look at the signature, see all the signature space, whether you already complete a signature there, or initial, whether some spot supposed to have initial, they don't provide it. Then you can check that. Okay. In the right side, I show you the detailed content related document analysis. You could extracting particular name, particular dates, particular property. You can check those data. If you have 100 document with all the scanned document PDF, you go through that tool, they automatically check, say, oh, where's the Jerry's, purchase agreement? They can quickly give you. Okay, that's a typical example. Extract the text and see whether this the name you look for, or that's the document for that particular client. Okay. The other thing is the data extraction. For instance, you want to check, supposed to be 224. Today is August 30, right? So you see whether all the document has August 30. Can you check for me? Then you get all the information for you, all the document, purchase agreement or loan agreement for you. Easily you can do that. So you also can check multiple data, not just one data, okay? And similar, you can do validation and verification. Recently, we published a paper talk about how to use AI to check a receipt, okay, for companies. If you're an accounting company, you process a lot of receipt, right? So currently there's some AI tool available to support you to scan the document, extract all the receipt. The problem, you don't know whether it did a good job or not. We already did a lot of AI test automation tool before. So we creating a model and solution to check whether all the AI inspection invoice tool did a good job. We already successful doing that, just to let you know, okay? So similar thing you also can do. I think a couple years ago, I did some document inspection for one local broker agent. He claimed he has a lot of agent, and every day have like 50 or 20 or 60, deals they want to close. They say, I needed some document analysis to support me to check. So we have created a student project to support them, okay? So this is a document analysis. Question for you is, okay, what kind of document here? In typical real estate, these are the documents based on my understanding, okay? You have a purchase agreement, you have an appraisal, you have a loan mortgage, you have a title, and so on. Even you have a land, right? All these documents could be there. I remember when I purchased a house, a very thick pile of a document I need to sign and I need to look at it. If you have this tool, that will be easy. They can do a check for you. Okay? So that's why I put these typical real estate document could be useful for you to check and looking at. Now, in case you had a property management, I know a lot of real estate people is a property manager too, okay? So these are the potential future AI intelligent useful for you. I listed these things. If you have a property, you need to check security is number one. You want to check that, right? And also you check some chapo. You need a chapo. You need a help desk. You need a schedule. And also you need equipment maintenance, okay? Because the equipment sometimes change a lot. In order to reduce the cost, you want to have AI to support you. So you keep tracking when this system has been repaired, has been installed, and you check usually how long this particular system or appliance should be sustained and when you should do cleaning, when you should maintain. Okay, so all these could be interesting AI solution for you. You can use. Of course, security is number one you should have. Okay, customer chatbot is the second one you should have. Then equipment maintenance is the other one you should have. With these three, you will reduce a lot of costs. Okay, reduce a lot of costs. So I think I already finished my presentation. Could entertain some question here if you have it. Any
Thank you,
question?
Professor. Yes, we
Good.
sorry about that. We're just trying to sort out the questions. So just to get us started with the questions, I'm gonna start with a fun one. So I think a lot of the realtors would ask when we're talking about AI is when is it going to take over?
You okay? You worry about job, right? For me,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I think it should be this AI is still starting, especially in the real estate industry. Currently, only works to you can consider is an analysis, is a assistant. You know, you could reduce some assistant job. That's it. Okay, I don't think will replace a real estate agent.
Oh,
But
thank you.
but give you a better way is if you're using AI effectively, you could close more deals and with a high quality. That's what I see. The only
Uh,
thing the only thing problem is if you don't use AI, you will be out. Very simple. Okay.
I
Think
have a
about
question, Jerry.
yes,
In
yes.
this is
uh-huh.
I have a question in regards to commercial real estate. I know big data is very important, right? Without big data,
Yes,
AI
yes.
is useless, right? So I hear in the commercial side of it, the data is proprietary. For example, CoStar owns the data. So where do you see utilizing AI in the commercial field, especially when the data is proprietary? So that's my question.
Yeah, data actually has a two kind of different kind of data. You know, I know each like a Zelle. You know Zelle, right? Zelle has a lot of data. If you have a money, the data is not issue because when you're creating service platform, you just sign some deal with them. For individual agent, it's very hard to get the data. Okay. However, you work together because you're a national association, right? I strongly suggest you think about national association as a group. You can group together as a community. Then you can talk to some service platform. Then you can get it. The other thing is you get a large property management system. That's another kind of data. I recently approached by one company. They are one of the leading real estate, special business real estate property management system. They have a lot of data. Okay, so these really depend. For market data, that's open. Okay, you can get it easily for market data. Okay, so it depends on what kind of data you talk. For customer data, probably is different. Yeah. So for customer data, only when I give you example like a chat data. Only when you started creating your chat system, then when you get more and more people to use your chat data, then you got it. I create a chatbot system. I give you example. When we create a chatbot system, there are a lot of open data available for chatbot system. The only problem is they may be not for your real estate. Okay, so you can classify the data as a several category. One is your domain, your application data. One is a common data. For instance, we get a lot of customer support data from from public. They're available. Okay, those public customer chatting data, they only talk about typical customer support between agent and client, their communication. So they have a lot of data available. This is for training purpose. But unfortunately, those data not really specific for your real estate. So The question is, if you want to get real estate data, you have a lot of frequent question answer, right? So then first you get from start there. Then these companies, they have you see, I already show you a lot of trouble, right? Free. When they have a free, what this imply? This imply they currently, they need the data. That's why they're free. Okay. When you're free, so then a lot of people use them, right? More people use them, they get more data. Then they can use this data to enhance their trouble model, to tuning and training their model. So I strongly suggest you don't want to wait for data. You need to start somewhere for public data first. Then you can narrow down to your customer data. The other tip for you is we already create a lot, we do a lot of chatting now. And also I testing a lot of chat system, okay? Most times those chat system, for me, chat GTP doing much better than other chat system, okay? But if you have a target real estate customer training data, like a chat data together, then you can get it. I give you example for brokers. You can open some chat system data, even the regular text chat. You do recording for the data, backend tracking the data. Then those data will be your training data. For individual agent is impossible to do that. So that's why I'm suggesting either you work as a group, say national real estate community, you form a group. Then this group, I understand most association is not business association, right? It's just nonprofit association, but you could do something if you're really interested. I could help you guys. Okay, make sense? That answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of public data. If you check my Google Scholar or ResearchGate, you can just type in Jerry Gao Google Scholar or Jerry Gao ResearchGate. You will see a lot of my publication. Most of AI, solution we created, we're based on public data. We are not based on private data. Okay, make sense? Yeah.
I just wanted to give a comment for you, actually. I don't think AI will replace us anytime soon, but I think
Yes.
we will be replaced by people who know how to use AI. So
Yes,
that's why we're
that's what I'm
here.
saying. Yeah.
And so I feel like, like
Yes.
be scared
Yes.
still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want to work together, right? If you want to work together, create some AI for your own. Make sense? Customize for your own business. Then you can share the license. You can share everything. Then you can do more better job. If somebody did not do AI, they will be out. Just like I give you example. Initial Amazon started, they're selling the books, right? Now you check how many bookstore existing. Already gone. Make sense? But for real estate, they're still different from book because real estate is a human interactive related. At the end, they still need to talk to human and visit your property, right? This piece is nobody can replace unless the robot smart enough can give you a real estate show, right? Property show. I think for a showcase, you still need a human to do it. Make sense? So that means if you have a good AI solution for you, and then your broker or the agent, you don't need a lot of assistant anymore. That's true. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I am not seeing any other questions. So
Okay.
on behalf of West End Gable Valley Realtors, Professor Dr. Jerry Gao, thank you so much. That was very informative. You gave us on a very high level, and it was very detailed. I was like constantly taking pictures of all their slides because there was a lot of information there.
I can send you the slides. No problem. Okay. I can share
All
you.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're
Yeah. If you need help, talk to me. Okay. Make sense? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And they did ask if we can have your email
Yeah, that's okay. I can type it here
and phone number.
to Melissa. Yeah. Melissa will share that for you guys. Okay. I put it on the chat here, the Zoom chat.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you again. Let's move on to our next item. Oh, wait, let's give him a round of applause. I am so sorry.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Bye. Mhm.
So our next guest speaker, it's almost like he doesn't need any introduction because he's our very own Derek Talbert. He's a ton of wealth of knowledge in AI. He's helped me out many times. I see him helping out the associate many times. So let's give it a warm welcome. Derek Talbert on AI.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Obviously, you guys didn't come just for me. You came to learn a lot about different types of tech. So I hope you've been picking up some things and have some things to practice and work on. The biggest thing you always want to remember with tech is you have to just keep practicing. That's the only way that you can learn it. That's the only way that you can get better. So today we're going to do a brief little intro to some AI. We're going to kind of show you some stuff with ChatGPT and a couple other programs that I like to use as well that seem relevant to the real estate market. So let's first start with today. You'll see that I'm going to cover what is ChatGPT. Uh-oh, there's nobody here to show that. Can we put it on the projector there too? Oh, you're good. Look at that. Tech issues at a tech summit. But thankfully, we have people here that can fix it. So, yes, right? It's not on the projector over there. Oh. Okay, continue. Okay, so what we're going to cover today in this short span, I'm going to talk to you guys for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to do about 15 minutes of QA. So first of all, we're going to ask, what is ChatGPT? I know a lot of you guys sat at the table that talked about what is ChatGPT, so we're not going to go crazy deep about that, but I will explain some of the updates. We'll do some real life GPT practice. So if you have your computers with you or even your phone, we can play around with some ChatGPT prompts. And then after that, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you could use that information in other AI apps. And then at the end, you'll see my contact info if you guys wanted more information. So let's get it started. So first of all, what in the world is ChatGPT? ChatGPT, you can imagine it like a super smart robot friend, or in your case, since you're working a business, this is an employee who does not talk back and does exactly what you say. So what you do is you just have a conversation with them. If you're using ChatGPT 4.0, you can talk to it like you talk to a regular person. But if you're using the older version, or you've run out of space on your free version of 4.0, then you're going to have to use some prompts to get the best responses. So what are those prompts? You have these two basic prompt styles. So this is kind of like the language that ChatGPT understands best. So you have RTF, which stands for Role Task Format, and you have TAG, which is Task Action Goal. So typically, most of the time, you guys are going to use the RTF model because that's kind of more for what you want to do right now, giving you immediate information. The tag prompt is when you're trying to build to a goal. So when you have an ultimate goal that's going to take a little bit of a long term and you want it to come up with a strategy of some sort, that's where you would use the tag action. All right. Did you guys get pictures of that? I know people usually love to see that. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the 4.0 updates. So as you guys know, the free version runs on 3.5. So you hear ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo. It's really, really good, very effective. You would use those prompts that we talked about before. But if you switch to 4.0, they give you a limited amount every day for free. It tells you what time you've run out of space. It says you've run out of space. You can get back on today at 2 p.m. So then you have to go back to 3.5 until 2 p.m. unless you want to pay for it. If you want to pay for it, it's completely up to you. People ask all the time, Derek, do you pay for it? No, I don't. I don't pay for it because I can use both sides of it. So it's not really necessary. But if you spend enough time on it, you find it very useful, and you find the old version is holding you back, yes, by all means buy it. It is worth the money if you're actually going to get the real use out of it. So these are the updates, the major differences between 4.0 and 3.5. So enhanced language input. So you can talk to it like you talk to a regular person. You'll see in the example that I show you in a moment, I just ask it a question. I'm like, what do you know about this address? Can you tell me about things nearby? You can talk to it just like that without having to use those prompts. You can also talk to it in, I believe it's 17 different languages. It understands it. So if you talk to it in French, you talk to it in Spanish, you talk to it in Chinese. I believe it has to be simplified Chinese, the traditional. They have some trouble sometimes. You can do both according to Tate. Yes. So you can do both. So you can talk to it in multiple languages. You can even do the voice chat where you talk to it on your phone and you're just speaking to it. It's really, really good and advanced at understanding and being able to spit out the information that you're looking for. One of the biggest changes is image implementation. And what that pretty much means is now you can drop a PDF file, a picture, you can drop in a PowerPoint, you can attach it, drop it directly in there and ask it to explain it. So like, let's say you have a complicated graph. You don't feel like searching through all the information. You can drop the file of that graph directly into ChatGPT and say, summarize this for me. And it'll tell you the basic idea of it. Essentially, it can read and see things the way that we see it. Fun fact, a lot of people don't know. You remember when you would get on a website and it would say, are you human? If you're human, prove it by clicking all the ones that have sidewalks in them or school buses. We were training AI. That's what we were doing. So based on that, AI copied those keystrokes and they copied the understanding of what those key items were, and then it became this. So that's essentially how it ended up being able to read that way. We've been training AI for years and didn't even know it. So next, you have integration improvements. So another thing you'll see in just a second, ChatGPT is partnered pretty closely with a lot of different companies. Like you see Canva here, you guys learned how to use Canva. There is a GPT made specifically for Canva that's on the ChatGPT website. So when you're typing in a prompt, you can start to build your flyer with all the information that you got directly there, and then it will transfer that information over to Canva for you. Now it's not a Michelangelo. It can't get super creative with building out that flyer or building out that postcard that you're trying to build, but it at least gets you started. It gives you the basic thing going, and it's not super creative yet, but it understands the information that needs to go in it and a little bit of the format that you want to work on. All right, so enough talking. Let me show you guys how to do these things. So if you're using 3.5, you could use these RTF prompts. So in role task format, in role, you would tell the ChatGPT the role that it will take on. You are the social media manager for my real estate company. The task is, what do you want it to do? I want you to create a social media posting calendar, 30 days for me. And format, how do you want it to give you the info? I want this info in bullet points in the style of a Facebook caption. And then it'll give you that information. So what we're going to do is, you see the 1, 2, 3 that's over here. We're going to find out what ChatGPT knows about a property. We're going to do a market analysis, and we're also going to discover surrounding highlights. The reason why I picked these 3, they seem very relevant to your guys' industry, but also that's what we're going to tie into the other AI programs I'm going to show you. So let's have some fun, guys. So here we are, we're in ChatGPT. Mine is in dark mode because I don't like that bright light when I'm up typing in the middle of the night. So I keep it dark. You know that you're in 4.0 mainly because you see this little attached file here. That's how you know you can add an image. 3.5 will not have that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, what do you know about, Mindy, what's the address to your listing that you had on Caravan yesterday? 2446? Mm-hmm. Roland Heights. Oh, we don't even need the zip code. She's gonna figure this out. All right, so we do this, and you notice. Oh, let me hook up. Oh, that's right. Yours is brand new on the market, right? So, since it's never been on the internet before, ChatGPT has no idea what this is. It only knows what's on the internet. So all the information that she builds, essentially Mindy's going to be the creator for all the information about this address from now forever. So after she continues to put this out and the information becomes public knowledge, ChatGPT will update and it'll have that information, and whatever Mindy decided to put in that system, that's going to be what is the actual information going forward. If it was on the market before, then there would be information here. But if it was not on the market before October of last year, then ChatGPT doesn't know about it yet. All right, I see a lot of hands. What's going on here? You have a property description for it? Okay, so yours probably caught up. She has it up on her MLS already, but it's not all public domain just yet. So just for time's sake, because I'm a little limited on time, someone give me another address. 2410 West Valley Boulevard. Doesn't matter, I'll find it. There we go. So as you see, it's bringing up information. And as you see the prompt that I gave it, I just said, what do you know about this address? So it says it's a commercial address located in Alhambra, California, known for a variety of businesses and services. And then it talks about West Valley Boulevard, about it being a bright area mixed with retail and restaurants, blah, 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 blah. Without more specific information, it's kind of hard to create something. So this is what I want to know. Tell me about surrounding highlights such as schools, nightlife, transportation, and demographics. So now it breaks down the information about the schools, the nightlife, usually things that takes you forever to do. Usually you have to, pull it up on Google Maps, then you type in schools, and then all the schools and all, like 30 miles around it show up, and you're like, I don't need all of that. Let me just see the really quick stuff. So you have your school information, you have your nightlife information. Granada, I've been there. I do bachata at Granada on Fridays, so it's pretty fun there. 38 Degrees Ale House, I've been there too. I've had a beer there too, Then it even shows Alhambra Place. You have transportation showing you the highways, walking and biking, public transport, diversity. It's really big on family orientation. Median household income is moderate. I don't know. Y'all seem a little bit higher than moderate around here, but we'll put it like that. And it talks about the housing. So what we want to do is, can you do, remember we're doing a market analysis. So what it can do is, if we drop the image in, yes, or if we asked for where to find it, then it'll pull up the website where it is, and then you can go directly there. Just because you asked, I'm going to say, where did you get this information? For schools, it has the Unified District, specifically Alhambra High School is known for that. Ramona Elementary, Garfield Elementary. Higher education has Cal State. So where did you find this info? And there we go. It tells you exactly where it found it. It's just a combination of general knowledge and publicly available data. These insights show it for that information for in the nearby area. So do a comparative analysis of this property with others nearby. This is the usage and zoning, shows the nearby properties, demographic appeal. So as you see, 2410 West Valley, that's another one that's similar that's nearby. You have slightly further away, mixed use. They show the different properties, the values, analysis conclusion. It's competitively priced per square foot, but may offer fewer amenities compared to property B. So it pulls up the different properties that are nearby that you could use that are similar to it. Exactly. Okay, so using all of the info above, if I could type, create a property description, if I can type, to be used as a blog. The reason why I'm using a blog, you'll see in a moment with some of the other stuff I'm doing. To use as a blog, use bullet points and write it in a warm yet persuasive tone. And here we go. So it says, discover the heart of Alhambra. Nestled in this vibrant community of Alhambra, 2410 offers an exceptional, sorry, my thing is blocking it, exceptional opportunity for business and investors alike. Pretty much they're making it sound super fluffy. They're adding all the extra stuff that we usually have to take time to come up with. Talks about it being in a prime location, versatile commercial space, community-centric surroundings, competitive value. So all the information we put in earlier, it adds it together. And then it tells you why you should choose that property. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this little button here. This is how you copy that whole section. So that way you don't have to highlight it and copy and paste and change it from black to white and all the other stuff. So we're going to click on that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect it with Gamma AI. So you can use Gamma AI to create presentations. So I copied that. We're going to create a new one. I'm just going to paste in text. So we're going to just drop that information about Alhambra and that property. We are going to do a presentation. Mind you, this is a free app, guys. I use free apps. So as you see, it got all the information. It wants to know how many cards. Let's do 10 cards instead. All right, and then we're going to continue. Let's pick a color. I like this color, this Gamma Dark. That's pretty cool. And then we're going to click generate. Oh, so it's GAMMA dot app, APP. That's how you find it on Google. Yep, GAMMA dot app, APP. So as you see, it is very quickly throwing all of this information here. And let's see what it came up with. Let's go to the top. All right. Discover the heart of Alhambra. Now, these photos are AI generated. because of course it wants to push the idea that it's using AI. But if you want, you can actually take those pictures out and put your own pictures there. So if you have listing photos, that'd be a great spot to drop your listing photos. Or if you have photos around the city or just things you can find on Google, you can easily drag and drop and put them right there in that place. So prime location, and as you see, each of these AI pictures that they're picking are relevant to the information that's going on that card. So they try their best to keep it similar. The cool thing is you don't have to worry about copyright with these photos because it was created by the AI. So technically the creator of that has given you permission to use it. So you don't have to worry about getting sued or someone hitting you with a copyright infringement type of issue because the creator is the one who gave it to you. So it has all the information. It breaks it up into different styles. So that way it's not just the same thing all the way down, but it talks about the space. It talks about visibility, all that information we put in. It made it a really nice presentation. So you're like, wow, this is fun. You have the price per square foot, total area, all the information that you want to have. The biggest thing I would suggest is drop in your own photos. So then that way it becomes your thing. Another thing I would suggest is for branding purposes, since, you know, there's a lot of competition out here. Choose a color and stick with that color and that theme. You know, whether it's the color of your brokerage or just the colors of your personal brand, try to stick with the same colors, same thing, the same theme every time. So then that way people start to associate you with those color schemes. So there we go. And all that information is here. It has the graphs talking about the growth and things of that sort and, you know, everything that it thinks it's going to be. Looks pretty cool, right? So the next thing we're going to do, we still have all that information from earlier, right? We're going to put it in a different app. This one is called Lumen 5. That's Lumen and the number 5.com. Another free, yes, that's right, free app for you guys. So this is, oh no, I've used all my free videos. Don't worry, we're going to use the one I started earlier today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do text on media. This also does other options here. AI voiceover is where you put in the text and then it'll have an AI that sounds like a person. You can choose all the different voices that'll talk it out for you. You also have your voiceover where you could talk directly on there and it puts the subtitles for the things you said and it puts it over a bunch of videos and text and things of that sort. And you also have the talking head, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's you, like the headshot area where you're talking, and it has things moving around in the background and has text coming across the front. But for time purposes and because we don't have all that content, we're going to just do text on media. So you can do multiple things. You can import a URL, which I think is really fun. This is a good way to keep you up to date with your social media. So you guys are always reading articles, whether it's from NAR or you just find things on Google about the real estate industry. Instead of you having, you have to post on a consistent basis on pretty much all of social media. Instead of you having to go find content like that, just get that URL that you had and post it directly into here, and it's going to create the same type of video that I'm going to show you in a second. So we're going to do paste text though. We're going to clear the script. Here we go. We're going to drop that information and we're going to hit compose script. So give it a second while it thinks. So it's breaking down pretty much the outline of what it's going to talk about. If you have the paid version, that's where you can get a little bit more personal with it. So you can change the duration of the video. The free one gives you about a minute video. You can change the tone. You can say, make it fun, make it energetic, make it sad, make it whatever you want to make it. And then you can also give it specific instructions, but that's for the paid version. For the free, seems to work pretty well for what we want to do. So we're going to hit continue. So it ends up saying this video is going to be about 40 seconds. These are the things that are included. I can change them if I want. I can, type in different things. I can move it around. I can add another one on there if I wanted to, but we're fine with it just being this way. So we're going to say convert this to a video. So give me just a second. It's creating a little scene. Even AI still has to think. Too slow, right? You'll see in just a second. It also depends on your Wi-Fi, not to talk trash here, but it also depends on how fast your Wi-Fi is. Okay, but it's created a video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a preview of this. And you hear the sound. Does the breakdown, it put its own music on there. It has the card in front of some type of background. And like, let's say I don't like it. Let's say I want to change it around. I don't like this. We're going to swap the design. Let's go. I like that better. Yeah, that looks cool, right? And simple as that, it switched it. And then we're going to preview that. And that's what it looks like now. So you can change the pictures in the background again to pictures of your listing, pictures of the city, but essentially you have something that you can post on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and it's already formatted that way. You can choose the format here. So you can have it as a story where every time people click it, it goes to the next card. You can just have it as a regular vertical. So if you just want to post it on your story as one clip, you can do it that way. Square is for your Instagram grid, and landscape would be best on Facebook because that's where you view them sideways. But you can change the format, you can change the resolution, and there you go. You click publish and it's ready to go. You just download it and then upload it on whatever social media site you want to use. So that was my 30 minutes for the presentation side. I know you guys have a ton of questions. Let's do maybe 10 minutes to 15 minutes of Q&A. What questions do you have for me?
Okay, one sec.
Thank you so much for the resources. I was curious, there seem to be so many different AI tools out there, and why you've chosen like Gamma and this one over some of the others that are available.
Yes. So there are literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of them out there that all do the same thing. The reason why I chose these apps, number one, they're free. I actually asked ChatGPT to give me recommendations. On a weekly basis, I look at the content that I'm creating. I look at some of the tasks that I'm doing that take a little bit of time. And I ask ChatGPT if there's something available out here. So it gives me usually 3 to 5 suggestions, and then I go play with them. So Gamma just ended up being my presentation app that I just enjoy the most. Now, if I'm creating a presentation that I want to use in Gmail directly, or I want to use with my Google Suite because that's where the rest of my information is, there's a different one under Google that works perfectly well as well. But essentially, I picked that one because it came out on top against all the others. Is that going to be the one I use forever? Probably not. If someone else comes out with another one that's free, that's just as fun to use, that gives me as much flexibility, then I'll continue to use it. Specifically with Gamma, I've been using it for, I want to say like 6 or 7 months now, and I've never run out of credits. They give you 80 credits every like 3 weeks or something like that. I still have stored 280 credits. So it's completely free. I have fun just playing around with it, coming up with new ideas. It also does like landing pages. It also does PowerPoints. You can really it gives me a lot of tools that I enjoy about it. All right. Does that answer your question? Cool beans. Thank you. All right. Any other questions about Canva? Yes. So I can show you that. So as you see over here on mine, Canva's already pinned there. But where you would find that on yours is you would click Explore GPTs. This is the integration that I was telling you about, where it works with a lot of other apps. So when you click Explore GPTs, you can type in what you're looking to do, or you can also look at all the top picks, the things that everybody is using. But you can go to writing, you can go to productivity. So writing, humanizer. So you can humanize your AI content. So you know how like a lot of times people use ChatGPT to say something and you're like, people don't talk like that. Now you can use an AI to make AI sound more human, which is insane, but it's here. It works. You have Write for Me where you give it a topic and then it'll write everything else. So specifically with Canva, that's more just it's in the trending section. Everybody loves Canva. So you can click on there and you start a chat. And you can say, I need, sorry, I'm gonna put this back. You need, what was that? So we're gonna say, I need to make a flyer that includes this following info. And we're gonna shift enter. We're just gonna drop that information we had earlier. So give it a second. It takes a little while. So let's create a flyer. Uh-oh. Oh, that's why I've run out of space. So after 6:03 p.m., at 6:04 p.m., I could create that flyer. But that's what I'm talking about, where you have ChatGPT 4.0 versus 3.5. Usually I'm able to get all the information I need from ChatGPT within just a few lines. And it's just because I've been studying AI for a while. I know how to talk to it to get specifically what I'm looking for. You tend to get better with it with time. It's just like doing anything. You start spending some more time with it, talking to it over and over again, and you can start getting better and better results. But essentially that's the way it works. You would drop the information in and then boom, it would create your flyer if you're on 4.0. They're trying to get me to buy it. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. At 6:04, I'll go make that flyer. All right. Any other questions? Yes, Tate.
Yeah, and the difference when you use a phone app and a computer app by using ChatGPT.
Yes, there is a bit of a difference. I wouldn't say it's a positive or negative. It just looks different. So, for example, on your phone, the voice feature is amazing. Like it pretty much just says tap to speak. You click the button, you start talking and rambling, and it does it all for you. The talk to speak thing on the computer, it still works the same way, but it almost seems easier to type over here. The information that you're going to get is the same on either side of it. They've done a really good job of bumping up the tech on the phone side. At first, it wasn't so good, but now it has a specific app, and there's also multiple other ChatGPT apps that are made by OpenAI. You know that they're made that way because you will see the logo. I have 3 apps on my phone, but it's really just based on your preference on how you like to receive your info. For me, most of my content is on a computer. So I'm going to use the ChatGPT that's on the computer because I'm going to drop that information back and forth. But if you're using things mainly from your phone, you enjoy using your phone, you're going to get the same results. It just literally the format looks a little different. You don't have like the taskbar on the side that has things pinned. You have to kind of open up different menus to get to different areas.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? So doing what exactly with video? Because I use 3 different video apps. So what would you want to do with your video? Okay, so I'll name off a couple of them for you. There's one called Video AI, that's spelled VIDYO. This is one where if you have a long clip, like let's say there's something from a podcast, or maybe you're sitting down and you're talking about your property. Maybe you're having a conversation with somebody, with another realtor, and you guys record it. You want to put this out to social media. You can take that entire long form video, drop it into Video AI. You click a button and it'll turn it into like 20 different short clips with all the subtitles already included for you to drop onto social media. So as you know, on social media, people have the shortest attention span in the world. So you really just want to get them started and then redirect them to your webpage. So that's something that I would use for real estate videos that take a little while. If you have a long video, you can drop it in there and it'll probably turn it into maybe 4 or 5 clips. When it comes to video creation, there's a video editing tool. It's not free. I use it though. It's called Topaz AI. It's like $300. So unless you're a video editor, I don't suggest spending the money for it. Oh, for all time. You buy it once and you're good to go. So you buy that and it does things like if your video is blurry, it'll clear it up. If your video, you have somebody walking in the background, it can remove them. If you want to add things to your video, you can. Topaz, that's Topaz Video AI. So you actually go to Topaz Labs. Here we go. You'll see it up here. There it is. You go to topazlabs.com. That's TOPAZ labs.com. So as you see it, like we'll do a comparison. You see how blurry the one on the left is compared to the right? The AI does everything. And it can get really saucy, but I make a lot of videos, so it's something that I needed to buy, just because it saves me time, it helps me with my clips and things of that sort. And the other one would be the Lumen 5 that I showed you earlier, where you type in your property description and it turns it into essentially a social media video. You can do the same thing with your listing video. So let's say you have a 2-minute listing video and you have kind of like descriptions of it. You can put something like that directly in there and it'll chop it up to a video for you. Does that answer your question? Okay. Margaret, I believe you had a question. You had your hand up earlier. Oh, no. Okay. Got you. Oh, no problem. Mindy?
Thank you, Derek. Can you incorporate that into a video flyer?
Incorporate which thing into a video flyer?
The other one before this, the video.
Video AI?
Yeah. Can you do like a video, like a flyer, but it's video that you're talking and you can post it on your Facebook?
Yes, you can. You can do that with any video that you download. That's the thing. You don't have to use Video AI for that specifically. But
you.
if you used Video AI to make little clips, all those clips are individually downloadable. So every one of those clips you make, you can download to your computer, and then you can upload it into whatever flyer format that you're using. Does that answer your question?
I think so. Thank you.
You sure? You don't sound confident.
Can you demonstrate? If we have time.
We wouldn't have time. I only have like 5 minutes left, but essentially like something that I use is I use a combination of Photoshop along with the video where I create a blank space where I can put the video, and then I use Photoshop to build all the information around it. That's something that takes a little while to do, a little more than 4 or 5 minutes. But essentially you can, you said next week, essentially you can drop in any video into that area. But yes. And I think we have time maybe for one more question. Is there anybody else with the magic $1 million question? Nope. Nope. My contact information. I love that, Talia. Thank you. So my contact information, you can scan this QR code here. It'll take you to my website. That's where you can reach out to me. That's also my phone number. I accept phone calls and text messages. I prefer phone calls. I hate texting, guys, honestly, I really do. But I prefer phone calls, but I do accept text messages as well. But the QR code will lead you to my website. There you can see a lot of the other services I offer because I do more than just AI. As you see here, the top is videos that I've created over time. But I do AI consulting, I do photo and video. I've done some things with some golf courses. Yes, I do charge. That's the only way I survive, guys. I live in LA, it's expensive here. So, my labor is not on sale. But I also do social media management and more. So some of the information that you need would be here, but honestly, if you just have a question, I'm a very approachable person. I promised I won't bite you very hard. I'm willing to answer your questions and figure out what you need. And one last question here before I go. How can you get more listings? I I can come up with a social media plan to get more people to look at it, but will they buy? I don't know. I don't know. But I would say the biggest suggestion is to stay out there, get it in front of as many qualified people as possible. That's the only thing I could think. And have some really good content to show them, which I can create. So thank you guys so much for your time. Looks like I'm out, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. All right. So the next part is I have this really fun, I do want to get to it. I do have this really fun presentation I wanted to show everybody. It should only take about 15 to 20 minutes. I do like to think it's more on the interactive side. So I will be asking you guys questions. Okay, so just give me a quick minute to set up and we'll get going. All right. Another round of applause, Derek. Thank you, Derek. I think I'd be lost without you. Yeah. All right. So this next part, I do like to consider more like free form. It's more just casual and exchanging some information. I see you all like this is part of my culture of who I am. I see you all like uncles and aunts. If you're older than me, you're an uncle or an aunt. It's one of those two. So a lot of things is ever since I've been in IT for 17 years, I constantly get phone calls from guess who? My uncles and aunts asking for my IT tips, IT advice, and what I see. So I could tell you, I see a lot of interesting things. And so that's why I really want to just do a quick snapshot, 15 minutes of your time. Promise it'll be as quick as possible. And if it gets boring, then I'm going to cut myself out because I don't want you guys falling asleep with me. So anyways, so quick disclosure, like I said, I'm in 17 years of IT. I do have some credentials behind it, but for the sake of time, but I don't want you to take it as the definitive answer because IT is always changing and so is cybersecurity. So just take it for a grain of salt, use these as guidelines. But if you're hearing it many times, then I do highly recommend probably using some of the guidelines I'm recommending. Okay, so I want to say, the one thing that I notice in terms of a lot of cybersecurity presentations that I see is they don't really go behind the mindset, behind the motivation of why do people hack. And I think that's really important to understand why do people hack, because it also tells you one thing, the trend. And in my biased opinion, the trend is going up. There's going to be more hackers, right? So I wanted to show you this map real quick. Let's come up. And what I love about this map, when I showed all my uncles and aunts, they're just like, what? Is this for real? And I'm like, yep, this is for real. What I love about this map provided by this website, and there's going to be a pop quiz on this website, is that this is the active hacks, cyber attacks at this very second. It categorizes every brand of cyber attack, the style of the cyber attacks, and what's occurring. So it's not just happening in the United States. You know, they're not very picky. They pick, it's global. And that's what I love about this map, because it puts a visual thing on cybersecurity that a lot of people don't see. You go home, you don't see cybersecurity, right? And so if it's out of sight, it is out of mind. So here you can see at this very moment, there's a cybersecurity war going on. All right, you turn on the news, you go cybersecurity after start Ukraine, right? How we compromise Russia's internet security, how things are getting broadcasted there. Seattle, the active hacking at this very moment is Seattle Airport. I don't know if you heard from family and friends. People are having a hard time getting out of Seattle Airport. This very moment that I'm talking, and I can go on and on about all the cybersecurity threats that are occurring, but this map shows the visual guide. So here's the pop quiz. So if this company publishes this beautiful visual of cyber attack, they must be the expert on it, and they must be the definitive group that I can use for my cybersecurity. So I'm going to purchase the Kaspi Internet Software Security Suite. Who's heard of them? Kaspi. It's right here. Casper, am I pronouncing it correctly? Casper. Yeah. So who's heard of them? So it's right there, Kaspersky Expert. So who considers them an expert and likely to use them? Yes, no? Okay, I know Tom knows a little bit of IT background. They are according to this government website, run by the Russian government. So a few years back, all my uncles and aunts And this is default installed on your Dell software laptop, Dell, HP, you name it, because it was the right price, free, right? And so here, hold and behold, here's a .gov website that says, hey, I think that company might be associated with the Russians. So take it for a grain of salt. According to this website, I think it might be, but take it for a grain of salt. So then the counter question is, Jeff, which one do I rely on? So from kind of a biased opinion and from where I started, they're not perfect. There's no cybersecurity suite that's perfect, but I generally prefer McAfee and Norton Antivirus. Those are the two companies I usually prefer. They're more European based. There's actually one or two also coming up in the European nations that I like, but my personal use is Norton at the moment. Okay. Norton, they're a really old company. They've been out since when I was a kid. So they're not the best, but they're one I trust. What's the question? Yes, and it costs money. That's where I hesitate. Okay. So now I also run to the ideas that hacking, there's really, in my biased opinion, 4 types, right? Why do people hack? They hack because A, it's a job security, right? If you hack and you're somewhat of what's considered a white hat hacker, at the end of the day, or your punishment or your term, you basically get a security job, right? Everybody knows about your hack. You're famous. That's why people hack. It's for the reputation and job security, and you get paid very lucratively. So I did include this article here. So this is a website of all the people that basically hacked. I mean, there's like these like stereotypical stories, kind of the person in the cave and hacking, and they basically get a job at the end. So that these are people who hack and get a job, right? But here's the thing though, what I like about their hacking, they hack, they share their information and said, I'm the one that did it, right? There's a little bit like transparency. Like I did it because can I get a job? To show off their skills, right? So in that essence, they're not doing for, financial, they're not doing it to harm people, but they're simply doing it so they can get their name out. So another type of hacking that is actually one of the biggest occurring right now is financial reasons. People hack because simply it makes money, and it makes a lot of money. And so the trend I always ask people is hacking going to continue as hacking makes people a lot of more money? Is it going to go up or down? Right? Up, right? So that's why people hack, because it's going to make them more money. So you just understand the motivation behind it. So again, if you're looking to change your career, this is why they do it, right? And there's many styles of hacking and why they hack. All right. So again, I will share this PowerPoint presentation if you're interested, but it has all these embedded links that show you where I get my source from. Another reason, this one I really don't like because it is a trend, and I'm glad that it became a trend to stop it. It's called the social reason. And it's basically called cyberbullying. It's no different than bullying a person. You basically hack its information, and then you're trying to shame someone or make someone look really bad, or maybe spread false information about it. And so it's pretty important. That's why this particular hacking website is from unicef.org, which I believe their good cause is, among many, is to stop cyberbullying. So the last one that is relatively new, what some people know about it too, is government hacking. And I want you to, why I'm emphasizing this is because what do the government have? A lot of resources, right? They've got the entire nation's resource hacking your account, right? So you think about it, they've got a lot of resources. So you think about, is cybersecurity important? Or why you should beef up security is because you're going against the government, right? So just think about that. So again, I've got this embedded link. It shows directly from the US government. This is a .gov, from justice.gov, as you can see the website. And just the headlines will tell you all you need to know. The US government recognizes there's a lot of global hacking, and they're hacking from the US, from the government level. Okay. All right. So the last one, in terms of the hacking, the reason I don't like this one, but this is very what's occurring right now, is this is the kind of the dark web stuff. There's forced labor camps to have people to hack. And if you don't perform, bad things happen to you. So these forced labor camps obviously are usually from anybody from walks of life. And when they do that, do you have high security skills or low security skills? Low, right? Because it's any walk of life. I force you to a labor camp to hack. So it's usually pretty low in terms of IT. That's why they focus a lot on social media, right? The social interaction of hacking, right? So this is just FYI. This is kind of the trend and the articles to back it up. All right. So hopefully I persuaded you that I think we should beef up our cybersecurity, but in essence, I don't want you to just beef up your cybersecurity. Oh, there's two parts to it you really need to think about. It's security on a physical level and a security on the digital level. So the physical level, I put the first proof is just from a real estate point of view. We all know we were trained as little kids to go, hey, before you go out the door, lock the door, right? That's the classic physical security measure, right? Lock the door, close the window, maybe check the gas. That's what, your parents would tell you to do. Now, why I put this as inputs, and I see a lot of mistakes made from a lot of people, is that your computer is built to receive one thing, your input. Your input is USB, mice, and keyboards, those three elements, right? So if I was a friend and I say, hey, I barely know you, but can you plug this USB stick into your computer? What would you say? No is the correct answer. But many times I was like, oh, it's Johnny's vacation video. I found it on the floor. Let's check it out together. Right? You'll be like, okay, I guess, I don't know. Oh, I don't know whose USB stick. Can you plug it in first and then we can find out who it is? All right. So USB, especially USB sticks, is one of the top ways to hack in terms of the physical element, right? The physical trick. So there's sites on it. There's so I just basically linked the version of it. So another version of this that I've seen on a more from the FBI was they actually have one built that actually sends an electric pulse and destroys the whole laptop. Very James Bond-ish, but I've seen it in action. Right? You plug it in, it just sends a huge electric shock. The entire motherboard's fried. But if you're a victim of that, you must be someone pretty serious for them to do that. But I'm just letting you know that there's the physical element, and by planting a physical an application and you click on it on your USB stick, your laptop will naturally trust it, and it's basically taken over. But you won't know, right? A good hacker wouldn't say, "Hey, I just hacked your computer. Thanks for plugging in the USB." They're not going to say that. So your inputs of your mouse and keyboard, be careful. Now for network gear and location, so this is a double take. How many here have their DSL box or fiber box in a cabinet? Does it break every 2 years? Does it have intermittent issues? Okay, you're lucky. Every aunt and uncle I have, the number one thing, they say, hey, Jeff, my internet's down. I go to their house. I said, before I look at it, I bet you it's in a cabinet. They're like, how'd you know? I hate looking at it. It's an ugly little box. So I put it inside a cabinet. The number one thing, I know there's a little bit off topic cybersecurity. The number one thing that kills network devices and all devices on your computer is heat. So when I opened the cabinet, I was like, whoa, it's a huge gush of heat. So especially in the summertime, you're gonna have, it's always the extreme, summer or winter, because I've seen people left their DSL box in the rain. I'm like, this doesn't work good with water. So just FYI, the heat is actually a big degrader of it. But why I say network gear is what I do for cybersecurity, I actually inventory who connects on my network. So if I have 10 devices, a watch, a printer, whatnot, I clearly say you can go in there and see 10 devices. And if there's an 11th device and I don't know it, I'm not going to let it on. That's the easiest way to do cybersecurity, right? There's also the login information, right? If I was to always think of oh, I'm a hacker, right? I'm going to go into Thomas's house. First thing I'm going to do if I want to hack his network from the easiest way, I'll look in this box, flip it over, and it says username and password. Right? We all know, we all have Wi-Fi routers, and you know that there's a default username and password on it. Done deal. I've hacked his. I didn't even just hack. I just flipped this DSL box backwards, and it has the username and password. And I've seen that happen many, many, many times. So consider changing that at least to something just that you know, not what's labeled on the box. Okay, paper. This actually came up a few times I've seen. So we all know the physical presence. You can do PO boxes. You can get a paper shredder. Who actually uses a paper shredder? Why not everybody? All right. Okay, it's the cleanest way to take care. You shred your paper, but keep in mind if you control a lot of assets, they can actually put the paper back together, even though it's shredded. So just FYI. So they've done it many times. So just when you shred, it's not 100%. Put it into different trash cans. Trash can A gets delivered out. Trash can B gets delivered out the following week, and that basically separates the data. Who puts their password on like a sticky note and right next to the computer? Who's guilty of it? Yes, thank you for admitting it. I am too. I see my wife, my kids do that. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Right. So those are the things I would recommend in terms of physical security. It's so stereotypical. And it's funny too, because I do it myself, but that is what the hacker would do. It makes sense, right? It's social hacking. It's like, oh, I know I leave my password next in a sticky note, so I'm sure these guys might. And if they don't, then I look under the DSL box, then it's there, right? You see, these are all points of entry in terms of the IT security on the physical level. Okie dokie. So on the digital, so this one I also see in a lot of security presentations, they don't talk about this. And this is actually very important because this is the easiest way to secure your IT, okay? So when you log into your account, you need 2 pieces of information, sometimes 3, but the first 2 is very traditional, your username and your password, right? Right. So if you don't give out your username, does that help? It does. Okay, so most usernames in all the like social media profiles and all the like, I play games and so I have like online mobile games. They all use the easiest thing that you're going to remember, right? Is your email address, right? So your login name would be your email address, and then your password would be whatever you set as your password. So what I'm trying to recommend is that for your username, separate your accounts. So for your personal accounts, like for entertainment, like Netflix, et cetera, for gaming, use one set of account. For your financial, that is an email address you never give to anybody other than the bank. And the cost is free. So who does that right now? Who has a separate email for their financial security stuff? And who has a separate email for all the fun stuff, the pictures, the Facebook, the Instagram, right? Why do you guys do it? I see hands raised. Would you agree with this advice? The next level. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that use encryption, use Proton. So that I'm trying to, we can dive into deep, but I want to turn like real quick tips, real quick things I tell my aunts and uncle all the time. Yes, Ellen. Yeah, it makes sense, right? You're making it more difficult, and then so with IT security is all about slippery slope. Do I do so much security where I have to do 4 or 5 different things to get in? The more security you put, the harder for you to get in. The less security, right? It's so easy. You just click at a button and it gets in. So that's why I say, and then for password, a short password is good. A long password is good. How do you make your long password? That you don't forget, right? Or do you write it on a piece of pad? Let's not do that, right? So long pieces of password, this is what I tell everybody. And there's scientific proof that this works, okay? Do a song, a phrase, a thing. So for example, don't use this one. This is just an example. Jack and Jill went up the hill and fetched a bucket of water. Isn't that a really long, beautiful password that you're going to always remember? Jack and Jill went up the hill to fit, So think of a song, a phrase that you know, nobody else knows, and it's going to be easy. A, it's going to be easy to remember. B, it's long. Okay, so think about a password phrase. Okay, and of course, sometimes the password said, use a special character or number, and everybody uses their birthday or social, they put like 1, 2, 3, and then go put Jack and Jill went up the hill to fulfill the password requirement. But does that make sense? Who's going to do password phrases in the future? So next password you set, it's easy to remember, right? Jack and Jill went up the hill, or a song or thing that you like. Yes. The answer is no. Because you have to follow your company, and the way the reason why they do it is there's a reason why they do it that way. And it's because they know from the cybersecurity point of view, your password's already out in the internet. That is why. It's just that that cyber attacker, for whatever reason, is not triggering it, because when they want to trigger it, it usually is a joint attack, right? So it's not just your account. They're going to just flood everyone's account, and then your company wouldn't know what to do. So there's a reason why they ask you, Alan. Well, that's a lot to manage. I wouldn't do that either. That makes it really easy for them. They can easily say, give me just Jack, I want to email all of Ellen's email or anything, and then they'll be like, oh, it's the same password. So I wouldn't do that. At least I would do one email with one different password for my entertainment stuff, and one different email with a different password for my financial stuff. Yes. So I will get to that. You're absolutely correct. I do like two-factor authentication. So I don't want to digress too much, and I don't have a lot of time. So with two-factor authentication, right now they give you a token, and as long as it's a different keyword, different network, I do like it. If you go home and your laptop is compromised, right, and it's on the same network, your dual factor is doing nothing for you. I'm just letting you know that it's doing nothing, because they've already, and I'll explain why later, but I do like dual factor, because in most time I buy the plan where you can just have unlimited internet here, right? So it's going, the dual factor is going through a different set of network. It's going through T-Mobile's network, and at my home I use AT&T fiber, so it's going through the AT&T fiber. So it's just two ways of logging in, and so that's what I would recommend. Yeah. All right, so let me quickly go through this, because I don't have enough time. So for entertainment, okay, so social media time of post. Okay, I see this a lot in realtors. I just had to say something about it. Okay, so Cher, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Not that you've done this, but I go, hey, I wonder what Cher's doing. I go online. I was like, oh, Cher's having lunch right now. She's probably not home. I kind of want a few stuff from her house. She's not home during lunchtime. That's great. Do not post what you're doing right now, especially when you're at lunch. I see everybody posting their foods, and I'm just like, no, that's a big no-no. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't say don't post your food. Just post it at a different time frame. Don't say, hey, everybody, I'm at lunch right now. Don't do that. Just say, hey, great. I just had, yesterday I had a great lunch with my friend Jeff, or something like that. It makes sense, right? Just give a little bit of time delay before you post. So if I was, say, for example, I'm going to go to Taiwan, I'm like, hey, everybody, next 2 weeks I'm in Taiwan. Woohoo! They're going to be like, wow, my house is ready to go. I'm having a fire sale at home. Does that make sense to everybody in terms of why don't post? I just, not that very moment, or at least say, oh, this was yesterday. If you have to post now, say it was yesterday. No one's going to be upset that it was, All right. Next thing is, of course, do all your traditional cybersecurity, just like what was mentioned in the presentation earlier. VPN, firewall, security, two-factor authentication. Definitely all those are proven science. That's why they still use it. It's because it works. But it's not 100% foul-proof. Okay, that's the theme. Lastly, I cringe on this, but I don't do it, but a lot of my friends and colleagues are. You could buy insurance right now for cybersecurity threats. But again, it costs money, and we want to prevent that. Okay, so for me, I also wanted, I'm consider myself a lifelong learner, and I want to pass some information that you can continue to keep learning. So what I see with, again, my uncles and aunts is, you're going to be like, Jeff, where do I get the information with good reputation? Like I did with Kaspi, I did that on purpose, is that they basically showcase something beautiful to try to build a reputation, but in fact, they're just owned by the Russian government. So what I would recommend is like things like SANS Institute, Garner Information, and infographics from those two institutions. Like we have CAR, of course, you can depend on CAR, NAR to provide some cybersecurity information. And of course, the US government, you could depend on where you get your news source in terms of cybersecurity. There's a few others, but for the sake of time, I can't list them all. And so if you go to Sands and Gartner, US government, and you Google infographics, they have a lot of beautiful things that you can see. So this is one of the groups that I highly recommend. The SANS Institute, they also give IT certification. It's pretty renowned in the industry and it's very dependable. So if you're looking for cybersecurity news, make sure it has one of those too. There's others too. So all the cybersecurity news from NAR, CAR, you can depend on. And of course, dependent on the company that you work with, you could depend on your brokerage giving you the correct, they have every reason to give you or try to give you every cybersecurity information. But end of the day, it's getting, I'm not just, because of sake of time, there's a lot of good information. So keywords, SANS, infographics, and it's going to give you all these beautiful, and I love what they do is because all of these have embedded links. And so you can learn a lot more information that I can present here. So, okay, let's go back to the thing. Albert, how am I? Oh, Albert's not here. I was gonna say, how am I doing on time? Is this good information? Because I could stop anytime because I know I'm holding you guys up from margaritas. You want more? Okay. All right. No, Pauline, you want me to end it here? I can end it here. One more day. I am going as fast as I can. No, this is not the app. This is infographics to give you the information you need to then probably beef up your internet security and whatnot. Yeah. Oh yeah, the infographics free. Okay, so this is what I also see that not a lot of people talk about, and I'm going to talk about here. It's really quick. It's dad guy security. So I got to drop this dad guy joke because I'm in IT and I'm a dad. Okay, so where do dads keep their dad jokes? Don't say the answer if you know. Where do dads keep their dad jokes? No, anyone? In a database. Okay, anyways, I just got it. It's very relevant here because I'm a dad guy. So the other day, I got this screenshot. My nephew said, I had a hard time. My nephew is 13 years old, by the way. I had a hard time telling you, please don't be mad. I accidentally reported your account instead of having someone else because someone was trying to deceive you. Can you help me explain to the Discord support the reports were false? Both our accounts were banned and the worst IP blocked by accessing Discord. It was honest mistake and I'll take full responsibility for it. So this is how a typical 13-year-old talks. No, just I know my nephew. He doesn't talk like that. Okay. And then later on, then he says, well, oh, sure. This is me. I'm like, sure. How do I report it? How can I help you? And it says, I try to clear the reports. That is what they're sent me. I really need your help by sending a friend's request to Discord support. The Discord profile is blah, blah, blah. If he accepts, tell him, et cetera, et cetera. So clearly identifies this is a hack, right? And I basically called my brother-in-law and say, what is going on? Because Caleb doesn't talk like this. Or if he said he got real smart real fast, you know? Long story short, it was a hack. And he tried to log in his account. He wasn't able to log in his account already. So I was just trying to do a good thing by reporting it to them. But what I'm pointing out to you here is that what is the greatest cybersecurity threat right now? Attack the kids. Because they have not picked up all these social cyber. They're not going to come here and learn cybersecurity from me, right? So here's an evidence of how they're attacking our kids, right? They're the weakest link. And you're like, yeah, they're going to attack the kids and steal their 5th grade homework. No, they attack the kid's account computer because then they have access to their parents' information. So that is why it's important to learn what to do with cybersecurity for your kids. And now most of you will be like, well, I don't have any kids, or my kids are all adults and they definitely know how to take care of themselves. But if you have any visitors at home from nephew, nieces, aunts, etc., what's the number one thing after they get settled in? Can I have your Wi-Fi password? Right? Right. Yeah. All right. Well, it's hard to say no sometimes to your aunts and uncles. They're gonna pull the aunt and uncle card on me. So, but anyways, that's why I segregate my security and whatnot. So earlier I mentioned about this, and just letting you know that. So every time this is actually happening right this very moment that I'm talking. There's a cybersecurity attack on the Seattle airport. So if anyone going to Seattle, it's no bueno right now. So why I did this slide is to teach you about how to manage your minions. I mean kids. So the first thing is you talk to them. And so I'm very transparent with my kids in terms of cybersecurity. And the one thing that your parents would be like, dude, I'm gonna lock down all my kids' account till they're 18 years old. It's not gonna happen because by US law, when they're 13 years old, their account is private to you. Did you guys know that? Yeah, so this right here, digital rights at age 13. Children Online Privacy Protection Rule, according to this .gov website. So at 13 years old, and I've seen, because they talk to me, they're like, yeah, Uncle Jeff, at 10 years old, I already told them I was 13 and I was able to have all the access in the world. I was like, well, that's great. Thanks for letting me know, right? So, so next time you think about, you know, your kids, your nephew and your nieces, that this is out there. So I talk to them about everything. And I talk to them about, I share with them to share with them about the cyber attacks that is occurring right now. And then every time I tell them like, never ever accept. How many have got friends? I've got a lot. I always blush because I have a lot of lady friends online. They all sending me texts to be my friend, right? They send me beautiful, gorgeous pictures, and I'm just like, okay, this is great. And you know what? We all know that it's, you know, it's not really that. And I share with that with my kids. Like tell them about the Seattle cyber attacks, tell them about all these fake texts. So never accept anyone's social media unless you know that person, right? Like I know Tate. So if he, you know, sent me a friend request Facebook, I know who he is, I would hit accept. So don't accept anyone's social media things, because then you're actually opening up to your accounts, your friends' accounts, that then the hacker can then start attacking. Oh, like I'm a good friend of Tate's. Yeah, no, they're not. They're just trying to hack their accounts. Share access. What I mean by this is I share everything I have with my kids. So it actually, as I'm sharing them, I actually get to see what they're doing, right? And so that's a way of managing your cybersecurity, and vice versa. And I tell them, I'm like, I see you went on these websites. It's time for a talk, right? And then this is the fun part with the parent control. All right, I should ask who's got kids, and did you ever turn off Wi-Fi? Okay, after this you got to do it, because when you want your kids in control, you turn off Wi-Fi, and then from a distance you hear screams, Dad, the internet's not working. I'm like, you're finally talking to me, right? So no, it's true. You turn off the internet, my wife comes out too. It's like, hey, why'd you turn off the internet? I'm like, because I want our family to see each other. So, anyways, there's some innocence and funniness, but it's really there's some truth to that, right? So having parent controls on the Wi-Fi, having the ability to turn it off and on, it really helps, right? And it puts a stop moment. At least you can reconnect. Right here, I want to monitor and just kind of reinforce Roblox is there's a lot of scam, because they say, where are the kids? And they're basically playing Roblox. But did you know Roblox has a lot of scam for kids? So again, cybersecurity is targeting the kids to get into your account. I have a link for that, and it basically shares all the types of methods that they get in. And hold on, I didn't put the screenshot, but guess again. I had a friend's kid who I'm pretty close with. He's like, yeah, Uncle Jeff, my Roblox account, it doesn't work no more. I was like, okay, what'd you do? He's like, well, this guy said he'll give me 5 fake Roblox dollars if I download this test tool for the Roblox thing. I was like, oh, I'll help you out. You know, kids want to be helpful, and they also want Roblox, right? And so they downloaded it. And when it worked, guess what they did? They told the next kid at school. Does that make sense? And for $5, fake $5 Roblox money, now you've got 20 other kids telling 20 other kids, and then now they've got 20 accounts compromised to 20 different families to attack, right? And if they didn't talk to the parents, right? So sometimes I've seen kids just parents go like, go eat dinner, I have to go eat, go play your Roblox, and they don't talk again until the next morning when they have to drive them to school. So by that time, a lot of things could happen. Okay, so and then of course there's Discord hacks. So the best IT stories are those that you share your stories. Hopefully I didn't put you guys to sleep. That is there any questions for me in terms of hopefully this is more on application of a real life story, like how you actually implement and where cybersecurity doesn't really tell you about. The attacks are from the kids. It's really global. The motivation is not just money. It's sometimes about their lives too. So any questions out there before I conclude my part? And hopefully Albert will come in here soon. Yeah, I actually, because I have an educational background, and so we actually have to teach both Apple and PC. So I've gotten into the rhythm of knowing both. My personal preference for work, this is all work. Like I segregate my accounts. So I have a PC gaming machine that I use to play games with my friends. And then I have a Mac laptop just for work. And that's it. And so my kids do not touch, by the way, don't let your kids touch your computer unless they're like older and they're helping you out. That's different. But yeah, if they're doing their homework and playing Roblox, just spare yourself on that. There's a handful of toolkits that you can use. In Google, you can actually do Google encryption of your email. What was that? I'm sorry. I forgot what was that software that you mentioned? What was it called? Proton. But there are other versions of that as well. Like for Gmail, I would just use the Google encryption. But it just depends how confident you want to go with your cybersecurity. I do know that as of right now, it's not a big deal, but you think about it in the next 10 years, right? And I actually had one of my friends runs a family office. So he says that one of the checks that they do is, do you have all the applications that you use? Do you have a cybersecurity, like, do you know what cybersecurity is? And then where do you keep all the information? Like it's a criteria, So I think in the next 10 years, it would make sense that our clients, the next generation would be like, you look old. Do you use your cybersecurity? Like it makes sense, right? Yeah. And anyways, yeah. Any other questions before? Yes, sir. I use them myself, but I keep it in a very different place. Yeah, I use what's called 1Password, but I have the grandfathered version. So I keep all that data in a very isolated cloud storage. Like I only use it for that purpose. That like nobody would know about it. But now you do. Okay. So we have very, very happy to have our madam. That will conclude it. We're gonna have a happy hour afterwards. But we do have some announcement. Our very own Madam President Ling has a few words for us.
Hey, I came here and I hide out in the kitchen. So I want to know, does anybody learn anything today? Does anybody know what GPT is? It's very good. You should try it. It's very simple. You just type in something and you want them to say something. They give you a whole list of things. They have written a story for you. It's very good. They have better grammar than me. And then they less typo. I don't have any typo. Siva. Does anybody use Siva? I call it Siva, Canva. All right. What else you guys have over here? Let's see. Hometown, I know. And then title, toolbar, Drome. Drome is Tom's baby, huh? Okay. Google Translate. There's a lot of translation, sometimes you got to be careful what you put in. Sometimes they translate something very weird, right? They'll say something that you don't think, because you don't read the language. Then you translate something and you send it to somebody and they'll laugh at you and you don't know what they're laughing about, right? So be careful, because we had that happen with WeChat. WeChat translation is off, right? So be careful with that. I think you, someone told me they transferred something very bad. Okay. So just be careful, because you don't read the language. So I'm happy that you guys are here. You guys enjoy the tech committee put up this show today. And I think, I didn't know Jeff can really talk. Yeah, I was waiting. They say, Jeff is gonna finish soon. And I'm like, okay. So I got another glass of margarita and I'm sitting there like, okay. And then didn't happen. So I keep on drinking my margarita. And right now I'm like a little bit dozy because margarita. So it's all his fault because I was waiting for him. I'm glad you guys are here and enjoying this whole day. And I think they're putting up some kind of margarita out there. And I think they give me double alcohol. So I asked for it. Who is that? Who is a witness on that one? I don't think that's why my face is all red. Enjoy, and I'm so happy you guys came, and hope you guys learned something today. And you know, I feel like bad to tell you guys, but when I was young in Taiwan, we didn't even have a house phone. We don't even have flushing toilet. We don't even have a refrigerator. And just 30 years later, of course, we have cell phone. We have, everybody needs a cell phone. We have all these internet technology. We have all this app. You know, life changed so fast. Learn every day. It's not about age, okay? It's about learning. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you.